Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. Still wait for some more people to come in. This is going to be an interesting conversation. I'm still having a hard time uploading from my computer. I have so much information that I downloaded to my email. I really, as an older woman, need to figure out how to do this because it's a lot of stuff I have to screenshot, and I want to basically show y'all facts and different things besides us just talking, even though it can be interesting with us just talking. But I feel like we need to start spreading this information. Hey everybody, hey S Lavardian, Dark Maid, Tashi D. Come on in, come on in. It will be Kay should be coming up soon. I guess Shay is still doing what she gotta do. We have a lot to talk about, and Kay brought up some interesting points. And I kind of was thinking the same thing when we were on different panels about us as Black American women who descend from United States chattel slavery. We look like we don't have an identity to a degree. That's the way I feel. Maybe it's just me, and I guess we can expound more on this as Black women. And I think we need to start being more exclusive and less inclusive. That does not work for us as women and definitely as a group. If anybody saw Megan's live, the last one that she did, it was very interesting and it was right on point. And there was a lot of stuff that we had kind of talked about or touched on before, and she was absolutely 100% correct on how a lot of times we can be mistaken for other melanated women, and I think we need to distinguish us and them. And there's some few points that I kind of put a question mark by on how we what we ingest and what we follow as Black American women. Who are we? That's why I asked that first question from the very earlier lives that we had done. Who are we as Black American women? Who are we? Because everybody basically can imitate and basically do identity fraud on acting on the precepts of Black American women. And it's like we don't, like Kay was saying, who are we? And we don't have any other place outside of America. This is our home. This is where we should be able to have exclusivity. We have been including people for so long as a group. This has not worked for us. This will not work for us. And I like the point where she was saying that a lot of us as Black American women will be dragged for filth outside of the aspect of what a lot of these women are doing. And when I was saying it a lot of times, I kind of figured that we don't know, or I think we know who we are. I want to have that testing. Do we know who we are? To basically say these women are us. And I feel like a lot of times we will say, oh well, Black women do it too, or this is Black women. And I'm kind of curious, do we act in those ways? And I'm looking at a lot of different things about us culturally. I mean, people can put on our hair and hey, I'm dropping the link, Shay. One second. Who are we? And I think a lot of times we tend to, I understand we have our own way in which we do things, and we're not, how you would say, innocent, but this is our home. And I'm kind of like, we did allow this to happen. I would 100% agree. The link is down below whenever you want to come up, Shay or Kay. We did allow this to happen, and I think we continue to allow it to happen when we call other melanated women Black and we call ourselves African. And I think I discovered it, and BSI was saying it when our Black male leadership and our leadership as a whole gave away our identity, and he started to get mad. And if anybody knows what BSIA is, or if he's listening, I hope he's doing well. Definitely Megan, hope she's doing well. It's just a breath of fresh air to have her back. She puts everybody on their toes, and I really appreciate her and BSIA and just all of us, because we have a lot of work to do as Black American women coming into 2024. We need to be more exclusive, less inclusive, if not inclusive at all, on a lot of different things. Um, we need to address identity theft, and call it out every time we see lascivious behavior, or behavior that's not seemly, and they want to say they're Black. We need to call them out, because I feel like as African and Caribbean women, and Black American women, there's a distinction, a wide distinction between us, and we are the only Black. We are truly the only Black. We're the only Black globally. They can call themselves Black, but that is not what they're identified with in their prospective countries. That is not where a lot of them are legally called Black in their prospective countries. I think outside of maybe South Africa, where they adopted the name in the 60s or 70s when we were doing civil rights, but they're basically listed as tribes in the country that they come from if they're in Africa. And if they're in the Caribbeans, they're basically listed by the country that they're from. But all of a sudden, when they come here, now all of a sudden they all become Black. And we do it. We do it all the time. We'll call them Black. They're ashamed of their Blackness. They're not Black. So when you give an example, it's like Black American. That is us as Black American women. And whether we say ADOS, FBA, Freedmen, Negro, Colored, all of these different names. I was watching Hezekiah Walker, Hezekiah News, not Hezekiah Walker. My mom was listening to gospel. And it was like when they were bringing up us with identity, it was like in the 70s and 80s, we tend to go through this a lot. We go through changing what our name is and who we are. And I think this will be the final prospect on what are we and who are we and what will we be identified and what is this name exclusively for us, because I feel like a lot of these groups of women, everyone imitates a Black American woman, but we cannot solely be for ourselves, by ourselves, and have something for ourselves. It's like everyone is always in the mix. And I was really getting offended. And a lot of times, being on BSIA space and different things, I was seeing it. And I'm like, I don't feel like Black American women act like this. Do we have our ways that we act unseemly? Of course, we're in our home. But as I'm looking at these other women who portray as being Black, like the young lady she played, she brought up an interesting point about Black women may follow this woman. I don't think that is the case. I mean, maybe if they're young and feeble-minded and that's what they grew up around, maybe so. So I'll say maybe a small percentage, but I don't think it's a great percentage because they don't get along as a sisterhood together. They tend to be very divisive in their own cultures, in their own country. And I don't see us as a collective hanging with these women on a daily basis. Yeah, so for a few of us may have them as girlfriends or whatever the case may be, and they may grow up with us in the neighborhood. But even in that context, these women still have parents that are not our parents. And we still parent our children differently. I mean, white people dress like us, white women, Hispanic women, they just tend to get by with it more because we're all melanated. And I think that's where the discrepancy comes into play. And we never paid it any attention as Black American women, to be honest, because we really never had to. We never really felt like we had to fight for our identity or someone was trying to basically put on our skin. We never thought of it as anything else. And I mean, you can't stop people from appropriating your culture, but we do have to have a point of exclusion. And this is going to have to be a lot of things that we're going to have to settle on the strongest factors on how we're going to do that. I mean, because this year will be the year that we as a group have to call out identity fraud, both men and women, but most of all as Black women, we need to call it out because a lot of this thing is tied up in how you say these gender wars, and it's like a piece in a square. Like, wait a minute. Are we actually at war? Because a lot of things I do look up Black couples, Black men and Black women, and a lot of us are getting along. I see those Black families. Do we have our discrepancies between Black men and Black women? Absolutely. Do we look at colorism in the same way? I don't think we do as Africans and Caribbeans. We have a way in which we address things because of how we've grown up in this country for over 500 years. And it's a different way in which we look at relationships and how we just move as Black women. We're different, mind, body, and soul. How you put on a wig and put on your makeup and put on your clothes, that does not make you as a whole factor of Black American women. We are so much more than that. And I guess I'm upset also with us, but also with some of the males in our group, but more so with us, because I think we, like Shay was saying, and like I say, and mothers, we allow this, and it's now time to pull back the reins. The good thing about it is these women are seen. So I mean, the face is out there. So although you're acting like me, you're doing all kinds of unseemly mannerisms, you still are out there and seen. And to basically come forth as a Caribbean woman and say that you laid with 2,000 men, wow, that's deep. And how your parent basically from where you were from left you to basically be on your own and fend for yourself, and considered you grown at the age of 15. That's if you watch the video, that you could fend for yourself, and your brother was probably like, or you or your brother was like a year older, so you was behind him. So basically that's not a common mothering skill that we have as Black American women, but yet that would have been, as some would say, we would be dragged for filth. So now I would have to ask the question, what do we allow as Black American women? Because I feel like a Black American woman to me is a woman born from a Black American woman. Her lineage is rooted in chattel slavery. No other woman is a Black American woman. No other woman that is made and say, for instance, that you mate as a male with a Caucasoid woman or a Hispanic woman or a African or Caribbean. Those are not Black women. Those are halves, because their mothers are not us. And I feel like, in my opinion, and I want to be known, am I wrong? A Black American woman can only be a Black woman who's raised from a Black woman, no matter what her father is. She's raised from our culture. She's raised from our lineage. She is from the womb of a Black American woman who descends from United States chattel slavery. And I think a lot of times these women will come in and all of a sudden they can be who they are in their culture, but all of a sudden when they mate with our males, oh, that's a Black woman. Or if we have a child with someone, oh, well, that's a half. And I don't feel like that is fair, because as Black American women, only a Black American woman knows how to raise a Black American woman. I don't feel like a woman who is of Irish or Italian descent, just because she lay with a Black American man, does not produce a Black American woman. Her child is half, but they are not Black American women. They are not. They should be solidified with the identity of the mother in the womb that they came from. And I think as Black women, we need to stop that. I mean, he can sleep and lay around with who he wants to, and we can also do the same. But I feel like if you're having a child and you are Caucasoid, or you are Mongoloid, or as you say, Asian or Hispanic, then your child is what you are, because that's the culture you're going to primarily raise it in. Because most mothers, 90% of the time, the mother is rearing and raising the child. I think we've allowed everything to come in, and looking at how our identity was just given away, and we continually do it with this thing where we're looking at Black as a color versus an ethnicity, and looking at Black as also a caste system that was basically set up in America pretty much as a structure, because it was Black and white. We were the only Blacks and whites, and we were bred here, born here, made here. It was basically something that was set up by the white man, because he laid with the Black woman, and anything that he created with the Black woman was then in turn, which was we were property, was considered Black. It was no relationships that were consented at that time during slavery that was allowed between a white woman and a Black man. That was basically detrimental, definitely, to him, her, and anything that they bred. So anything that was Black came from us. And where did it change that all of a sudden now everybody comes here and they're Black? And I think this came from a system of Pan-Africanism. It had something to do with religion. It had something to do with low self-esteem. It had something to do with piss poor male black leadership. It has something to do with us as black women upholding the banner because we're following our men, because we are following behind them. But at some point in time, we have to look at it and evaluate. No, I'm not blaming, because at some point in time, we went through a lot as black Americans because of slavery. We went through a lot because we were constantly, and we still constantly fight for our identity, fight for our rights, fight for a purpose to survive and exist and thrive. And when we fight, our fight always benefits others. I've seen where we had issues in America, and it's like so deep. We are the moral voice, the moral compass of the world. And it was an incident that happened in France where a young Arabic boy got shot by the police. And they started basically doing their protests in France because they said France is very like racist when it comes to color, and they were calling him black. And I'm saying to myself, but this guy is clearly Arabic. He's not black. When all of a sudden did they become black? And oh, black people this, and how is it being black in France? And it's like, we have been hijacked. We don't have an identity. An African can be her name of her culture, her tribe, and she can be African, and she can be black, and she can be an American. So it's like now they're moving into the aspect where they feel like they can take part in our identity and just take it over, because it's like we become lax, we become too welcoming, we become complacent. We have not paid attention. We kind of dropped the ball, but however it is, we punted it, we fouled it, whatever the case may be, we got to pick up this damn ball and get it together, because we can't allow any and everybody just to secure our identity as women. We won't have a voice as women if we continue to allow this. So that's why I say hashtag take back black. That aspect, what Todd Direct was saying, it is a hard pill to swallow. It is going to be a hard feat to do, but we have to push it as black American women that we are the only blacks, and men have to push it that we are the only black. We're not African and they're not black. We have to really push this ideal. So getting back to the aspect of the young man who was in France, they basically took up the same structure in which we took for protest, like how we did with George Floyd, and it was like no justice, no peace, and how we were doing with Trayvon Martin. Everybody watches and they take these same pinpoints on how we protest, how we move, and they basically put it to their circumstance and they use it as a broadband. But here's the funny thing, I didn't know anything about it. The world didn't know anything about this young man who was shot by police officers in France. But people in France knew. But the funny thing, everybody knew what happened with George Floyd. Everybody knew what happened with Breonna Taylor. When we speak out, and we speak out with Vera, when we speak out with power as black people, when we stick on a point together as a group, we get things done. And I feel like as black American women, that's why I wanted a space exclusively for us, because we don't have any, because we need this aspect to get stuff done. We need this channel and this space to get things done, not just to talk about it, but to be about it, to move as a force. 2024 is going to be a hellified year. I hope it's a year that we thrive, even though a lot of times it's going to feel like it's very hard to survive. But I hope we can not only survive, but thrive and learn new things along the way. And I've noticed something as black American people, black American women in particular, our fight is never, never going to be done. But we can catch breaks in between, but all of us can never, ever, as black American women, just lay on the wayside and not do something. We have to always be proactive. We may have to take shifts, but we have to always be mindful, keep an eye on the prize, keep an eye on what we need to do as a group, and rely on one another. I feel like as black American women, we truly do get things done. We're not going to just talk. We have to be about it. And I was looking at just how our mothers moved and how we move. And I see as black American women, we really don't have time for the petty nonsense on these spaces. And when I see true black families, they're about getting things done as a collective. Black women, they're about raising their children, getting things done as a collective. Do we have some ranch and raunch? Yes, but that's primarily young people to a degree, if they're younger girls. But even I've noticed with my daughter, and she's 20 now, your children and your daughters follow you. And our daughters, I followed my mother, my daughter follows me. And you have a point where you do go through your nonsense, you go through your growing pains. But in all, our daughters follow us. And I don't know black American women who would find it feasible to raise a daughter and say, oh, you're on your own. You can take care of yourself at 15. And sure, it's okay to make that money and sleep with 2,000 men and just hoe around and do what you. I don't know Black American women who do that. Do we have our ratch and our ghetto? But it's not, yeah, but it's not like that. Even Keisha comes out of the hood and makes something out of herself. We have morals, we have standards. And I'm tired of being compared to someone with bad wigs and a funky tail and just all around here acting like they ain't got no dang sense, talking about this person don't make a good living and high value when you're coming from someplace of nothing really. Third world, how dare you? And then you get to put on my skin and act ratchet. And I'm even more upset with us as Black women. We should not allow it. We should let something be said. And we should also let Black men know if you want to lay with that and you have laid with that, that's on you. But that's not a Black woman. That's on you. What you laid with, what you procreated with, and what you consider Black, because she's not us. And we're definitely not her. And this is the year I think we need to separate that as Black women. That's our responsibility, to separate our identity from theirs. It's a point in a preference where we have to stand and make a difference. This is ridiculous, utterly ridiculous. I don't even see us anymore in a lot of different ways. And maybe because we're busy working, again, raising children, making money, doing business, because we have to pay those bills. You know, the economy is fucked. We have inflation out the roof. People can't afford food. We have things that we have to do to make sure we secure our future for ourselves and our children. We have a lot on our backs to bear. I've never seen us ever just sit. Social media is primarily new, and I mean a lot of people on here, but as a collective, Black American women, I don't think really have time for nonsense. If anything, if we don't feel like something is going our way as Black, we'll pull out. And I think that's where I get the aspect of peace that passes all understanding. That's the women that I know of. They may be in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever age group. We tend to move in a similar way. I'll never forget where this African guy told me, and I won't name from where he's from the continent, and he was saying that a lot of times he was telling me about his own women, and he was basically saying, and I won't say the country he's from, but he was saying, no, Black American women are the true, most educated entrepreneur women. We're the true, strong Black women. We are different. We're built different. We're raised different. We're reared different. We come from a first world society and we endured slavery, which was one of the most tragic situations that have ever happened in our lineage. And we still suffer from that till today, but yet we still not only survive, but thrive. We managed to not only invent, but help build a nation, both directly and indirectly. We raised not only the Black man and the Black woman, but we also helped rear and raise the white man and the white woman. It's a lot of things about us that are just different on how the aspect in which we look at life. We don't look at it the same as other people who are melanated coming from a third world situation. I think we become, how you say, compassionate for others and their needs, not realizing that these people have a hidden agenda and that their vitriol can be just as bad, if not worse, than the enemy that we fight daily. And that's white supremacy. We didn't know that, and we let down our guard thinking, oh, everybody's just like us and you're going through it and you may understand. So we'll let you in, not knowing that they had a hidden agenda. Not all of them are our friends. And I think that hurt us a lot. And it threw us for a loop because we was thinking in our mind, surely you can understand, not understanding that when a person doesn't come from the same culture and the same background as us, they cannot fully understand where we're coming from. They're coming from a place that is destructive. They're coming from a country that has no running water, that has no infrastructure, where people are struggling day in and day out from hand to mouth, where they're basically fighting for survival. Where we thought that our struggle was something else, which it is. It is. It is. And we go through something traumatic every day, but we can't expect someone coming from a totally different country and a culture to just rest in what we are and just jump in line. And I think that's where we got out of context and out of step as Black women. They can't understand, they can't relate to who we are, and what we do as Black women. And this is the thing. I'm wondering, in some sense, by them doing what they do as women, basically some of us call it cosplaying, I say identity fraud. Is this beneficial to you? Because is this a cloak that we can hide behind, or is it a cloak that they're hiding behind? And who's benefiting from this? I think neither one of us aren't. But I think in real time, I think she, as African and Caribbean women, if they don't secure their identity, they suffer the most, because you cannot pretend to be something that you're not for long. It will lead to mental illness, and it could lead to physical harm. And I see that that may be the case in a lot of situations when you see different things happening in relationships where they're perpetuating being Black women. And I think a lot of times the men that they're with, and they say that they're Black, of the countries that they go to, and they say that they're Black, a lot of times they may see through this and say, okay, well, you want to perpetrate the fraud, I'm going to show you just better than I can tell you. So I'm not sure what's going on with that aspect of what is going on. And I do understand that a lot of times they want to go to other cultures and countries because they're not welcomed by identifying as themselves. And I've seen it when other cultures will see them and know where they're coming from and act real negative. But that's not our problem, and that's not our fault as Black American women. We have to hold on to our identity, and I don't like the fact that you're going to cloak yourself in me. It doesn't help you, and it definitely doesn't help me. But I think in the interim, if we don't do something about this, this can also trickle down to us and be harmful. As of now, I feel like Black American women are in like a hibernation state. I think we're in a hibernation state because I'm just saying, for me personally, I see a lot of Black women just self-evaluating on a personal level, depending on your level and what stage you're in. I feel like as Black American women, we don't have to be on the same page, but we damn sure have to be in the same book or have to follow the same storyline. And that's who we are as Black American women. We're not all on the same page. We're in the same volume. We have the same story. We have too much as Black American women. We rival in levels. We have books that tell who we are as Black women. It's not just one book. We have a story so vast and so mighty as Black American people that we have volumes, but we're all a part of the same story. We just may not be on the same page. But here's the thing, they're not really on any of our pages because they weren't here when we built this nation. They weren't here when we went through the pain. They weren't here when we sculpted it from the mud. They weren't here when we went through tears of joy and tears of pain. They can never relate to that. They can't relate to my grandmother's story or my great-great-grandmother's story or our lineage. Putting on a wig and dressing a certain way and talking a certain dialect does not make you a Black American woman. Black American women come from the soul. That's why Black American women have soul and Black girls rock. No one can be us, and we have to let it be known who we are, what we stand for, and what we will not tolerate. This has to stop. And if you're following as a darker skinned Black woman, someone who's mentally ill, skin bleaching is not colorism. It is not that. I do believe as Black American women, we can solve a lot of those problems in reference to colorism, because colorism is nothing like skin bleaching, but that's going to be on another show. So we'll talk about that later. I mean, mental illness does not compensate with the aspect of what happened to us when they separated house Negroes from field Negroes and mulattoes from dark skin and whatever the case may be. We are all mixed as a people. Again, we are not African. They are not Black. We are a different human being, a new breed of people. We built this country. This is our home, and there is nowhere else to go. So when Kay said we don't have our own space where we can have our own privacy and do what we need to do as Black women, that is absolutely 100% true and correct. So those things need to be uplifted. We need to push more on the aspect of us having our own space. We need to learn how to be more exclusive on what we allow in our presence and who we allow to represent us and speak for us. We have a lot of people speaking on issues that I don't think even really concern Black women. It's like these issues that they're speaking about, it's not really on our real thought pattern. I think most Black women are thinking about how they're going to make more money, how they're going to pay their bills, how they're going to buy a home, how they're going to stay stabilized. I don't even think a lot of us as Black women have the time to argue with our male counterparts. We're too busy. We're too tired. When I looked at how it was for me as a single Black mom, you go to work 9 to 5, your brain cells are working, trying to figure out other things that you need to do to find out people's problems. When you're working and then you come home, you have no time for idle nonsense. And when I look at these women on these spaces, a lot of them are young, some of them are older, but they look like they have time for idle play. I don't know Black American women in my time period as a collective where we're sitting there having idle play. Most of us as Black women know that our mothers work. They're working. They were providing along with our fathers if the father was in the home or if he was working alongside the mom. I don't see us being on there doing idle BS and saying that a job that is a city job or a job that's a government job is not a job to take care of me and you got to take me to a five-star restaurant. That's not us as a collective. We were always trying to innovate and make change. And I think a lot of times these are women coming from other cultures, had nothing, do nothing, weren't about nothing. So they are women who basically don't know how to act. You know, when you're not used to something, you act out. You act unseemly. You know, like how my grandma said, you ain't used to nothing. That's why you act like nothing. We're used to a lot of the things that we see around us. America has always been our home. So it's not shocking when we see this going on or that going on. Hey, how you doing, Charlie Shaw? So I think in a lot of ways we're different in how we move, how we represent ourselves, what we think about. And I think that's what we need to talk about. What and who are we as Black American women? And definitely call out the nonsense. When we see that it's a woman who's perpetuating saying she's Black, call her out by her name and her culture. And if you're not quite sure, that's an African, that's a Caribbean, that's not a Black American. Let the whole world know because our voice is like E.F. Hutton. When we speak, everybody listens. We have to let it be known 2024 and now and from now on. You don't get to put on my skin and act like you got damn full of sin. If you want to do all of this ratchet behavior as a woman, say who the hell you are. Represent yourself. Don't be hiding behind me and saying you're a Black woman because you're not. The only Black woman there is us, Black American women who descend from United States chattel slavery. And when Megan put that out, it was like a boomerang. We all have to call it out. That's not a Black woman. And when you see a Black man, that's not a Black woman. So keep my name out your mouth. That's not a Black woman. She may be your sister, she may be your chick, but she's not me. Let it be known. And it's a certain way we need to let them know we're not tolerating your nonsense. Say who you are. You don't get to be me. You don't get to speak for me. You don't get to speak in my skin. You may put on the same clothes that I wear, but you damn sure don't wear it as well. I've never heard this year so much bad wigs and women don't know how to wash their behind. And I'm sitting here like, when have a sense Black women don't know how to do no hair? How the hell is that? That should have been a clue right then and there. How the hell we don't know how to do hair when our asses were the inventors of how to do the flyest hair? Madam C.J. Walker? We had to always do our hair. So I'm pretty sure by now Black women know how to put on a goddamn wig. And we damn sure know how to do proper hygiene because your mama, that's step one. She taught you how to do that. So if you have been laying up with them as brothers, that's on you. When you lay down with dogs, you jump up with fleas. That's not us. You should know who your woman is. But I think this is the year where we're going to have to call it out every day, every second. We have to be petty. As they say, divisive, yes, divisive as it may be. Xenophobic comes from them. They brought it. We didn't bring it. They brought it. They brought division, and they were never together in their country in the first place. So that's on them. That's not us. This is our home, and we have a right to speak up and speak out and shout it out loud. We're not tolerating this nonsense no more. If you want to act like a 304, say who you are. Don't put my name in your mouth. Say the country that you're from and what you represent. And if you can't, we're going to drag it because we're not going to get dragged for filth every day, day in and day out over some nonsense because someone got a ratchet wig, don't know how to wash they behind, laying up with everything, talking about who's high value, who's not. That's what I was saying on these spaces when you having these stupid behind gender wars. Yes, there are Black American men who are involved, and I feel like there are some Black American women who are involved. But we need to set aside the differences between us as Black women and Black men and call a truce on the aspect of what we will tolerate and not tolerate. And if you want to lay up with these women, that is your prerogative. But you need to know who you laying up with. And vice versa. If you want to lay up with certain men, you need to know who you laying up with. That's your prerogative. I do not consider reparations a part of relations. Reparations is separate from relations. We're grown people, but you should know what you're laying with. And I don't feel like as Black American women with all this vitriol that's going on, that if you're not already in a relationship, that you probably should pursue one. You probably should go the other way because we're not sure. A lot of you are not sure, and we're not sure of how they feel about us. And now finding out what we know now, would that be a conducive and a productive relationship? It may not be. but we cannot say to people who they can lay with and who they can't lay with, because clearly many of us have already laid around. But I do feel like if you can, and there's a black man and a black woman who can come together and they come in agreement and they can solely fly together and be that couple, then so be it. But if you can't, we don't have the right to basically tell people who they can procreate with and be with. But you do have the right as black people to say what you do personally should not affect us as a collective, and you damn sure should know who you laying with and know who you are and stand for your people first and foremost as a collective. Your individual decisions should not embark on us as a group. We have to make this clear, and we have to definitely make it clear as black women that not everything that he lays with and it comes and brings back as a female, as a black woman, she is not. She does not come from a black American woman. She's not us. You may be half, but you're not us. And whatever comes from our womb, I feel like is a black woman. That's a black woman. It comes from a black woman. It is a black woman. And that's what was already written. Some will say, oh, no, that ain't fair. No, that's what the white man put down. I'm a black woman. I know how to raise a black woman. And basically, we've been progressing to raise black men. We had to raise white women and white men. So I'm not accepting anything as a collective what comes from his side. That's what I'm saying. And some may disagree. Well, no, I'm not. Because we get a lot of those women who come over on this side as well and want to placate to our identity and basically say, I'm a black woman, and coming from a whole white woman, a whole Hispanic woman. Why can't she be accepted in that culture? We accept our children to say, okay, well, they're black, they're from a black mother, and they may have a white or Hispanic father, or whatever the case may be. Why are we accepting his children? They should be in that community. If he wanted a black child, he should have had it with a black woman. Black women outnumber black men, and vice versa. If you want a full black child, you need to have it with a black man. But if you can't feel like you can be in that type of relationship, or it's not working, then fine. Know who you're with and know who your identity is and know your lineage, and don't give it up, and don't delineate in the bedroom to the aspect that you just give up your culture and take on theirs. You have to make some conscious decisions, because I just don't feel it's going to be realistic to tell people who to lay with. It's not going to happen. Black men are not going to be told that they can't lay here, and black women are not going to be told that either. I just don't see it as a way of doing things. I know that it's not going to happen. Like Dr. Umar now is trying to come out with making it against the law for us to be procreating with other groups. That's not going to happen. We're going to have to make a cognitive decision on what we stand for as black women specifically, on how you represent your culture and what you will allow to be in your presence and who you will allow to be a part of your identity. And no one can. The only black woman is us, black American women who descend from United States chattel slavery. These women need to be called out for their filth, for their ratchetness, for their lascivious behaviors, when they're speaking on issues that do not formate on what we want as a collective of women. I think they're speaking because we're not saying what we need and what we want as black women. I don't think abortion was one of the top things on our list, but yet for some reason they use these melanated women to act like goddamn fools all over the social media and all on the news to say, oh, this is what black women want, this in their neighborhoods. Do we actually know what we want as black women? Have we ever discussed it as a collective? I think that's something that we need to discuss. What is our top priority as black women, especially going into this year, into the elections? It's a way that we're going to vote as a group, as a collective, black men and black women, but there's also separate interests that we have of our own. And what is it? We don't say anything. We just go along and get along and all this, whatever. We've lost faith in the political system, rightfully so, because it has never done shit for us. And clearly after this Democratic file up and run, it has always been a mess, but it's an ultra shithole right at this present moment. They're not doing a damn thing, not just for black Americans, but for the country as a whole. It just seems like a complete sabotage, like they're just trying to throw America clean up under the rug. I sometimes wonder, what is this? Like the Trojan horse is coming from every goddamn direction. You don't know what's going on now. And I think this is even more that we need to separate and delineate and be exclusive more than anything, because a whole lot of foolishness is just going on all around us, both dangerous, just all off the chain. It's just America's not even recognizable. It looks like a fucking trash heap. And I'm wondering, if we look like this, what does the rest of the world look like? But at the end of the day, when these people get tired of messing around, trashing around, and doing whatever, they will probably go back to their own country. Who knows if they got a country to go back to? But at any case, this is our home, and we need to set up a banner, a standard, and basically put down what we're going to tolerate. Definitely as Black women, and we have to be very exclusive in this space. Yes, I believe as Black women we do have a sisterhood. Do we have our ratchetness and backstabbing as Black women? Yes, but I think we have a sisterhood and more of a bond more than any other female groups, because everybody wants to always link with us. Go get the Black women, get the Black women, get the Black women. For some reason, we do line up and we do come together and represent, but how are we when we come with our relationships personally, whether it be in our family, friends, and our community? I mean, we're not going to all be kumbaya all the time, but we need to have a stronger bond, stronger than we've ever had before, despite religion, despite relationships, despite our individual thoughts. There should be some camaraderie on a higher level with us as Black women on what we have as a code and what we will tolerate. And I say that we may not have a code as a people, but we definitely need a code as Black women on what we stand for. Black women do get things done when we put our minds together, and Black people get stuff done when we put our minds together. But I'm talking on this specific issue about us as Black women. What are we going to do to formulate some change? Because we have to survive what is about to come for us in the years to come, and in the months, weeks, whatever the case may be. It's going to be something like we've never seen before, and we're going to need each other more now than ever before. We can't just walk around lackadaisical and figure everything is going to fix itself. We can't pray it out. We can't meditate it out. We can't ignore it. We have to make a move. And we definitely have to start calling out these ratchet behind 304 people who keep talking a lot of crap in reference to us, and they're not Black women. Speak what you want as an African or as a Caribbean, but keep my name out your mouth. This needs to be echoed. This needs to be, how you say, on a blowhorn. You're not us, we're not you. And we need to have our own separate interests solely for us, because I don't think anything that these women do have benefited us as a whole. Oops, sorry. Hey, Shay.
Hello, good evening, ladies. How are you doing tonight? I just wanted to chime in because I was just thinking about when I was listening to you talking uh, about being on code and about us being together, having some type of unification and conglomerate. There's a word I'm looking for. Help me, y'all. Amongst each other, and some type of loyalty amongst each other. And I was thinking back, like even back in the day, we had certain elders and people around us, or somebody in our family that you can trust, and has some type of moral and moral standards about themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and being legitimate about themselves, and somebody you can trust and confide in and talk to. And guess what? They will help you out. And so that's where we miss it. Like they have the elders in the church.
Right,
They'll pray you through, you know, your information is confidential, but it's not only that, they help you to get results.
right,
And if one is suffering, everybody's suffering. And it's like we got to try to do something to make things happen, to work things out.
right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? And it wasn't just talk and it wasn't just gossip. So the flavor back then was totally different than it is now. And we
We're,
need to bring that back. Cause I know what my grandmother, my great grandmother's about. It wasn't about gossip. Wasn't about nonsense. You understand that you couldn't come to them with nonsense. You
right.
have to be real straight up, and let's come up with a plan, and this is what we're gonna do for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? And this is what you could do to help your next sister. Otherwise, it's all fake and phony, and it's not going anywhere. So
Facts.
I can see the where the outrage is now. And sometimes people are tired because you're only one person. So it takes, I mean, more than one person. It takes a number of us to get things done, and we could get things done quick without the bullshit.
Facts.
So I just want to chime in on that part.
Yeah, because when I was looking at the video with Megan's, which I was saying before, they're not us. That's not us as women, and I kept saying those, but it was just like every time you have the bad wigs and the hygiene and just all of the crazy stuff that they were saying and doing, and I'm like, that's not the flavor of black women that I know. I know we live in different parts of the United States. Some live in the Midwest, some live in the West, some live in the North, some live in the South, but we all have like a cultural link that keeps us with a certain moral compass. If we didn't, we wouldn't be the moral compass of not just the United States, but the world. So it's a way in which we move. So I'm like, in some sense, is this a benefit that they're acting out in a certain way? Is this a protection that people mistake them for us? Or is this something that could damage us in the future? A lot. Because what I'm saying is, can it be looked at two ways? That it's like, because of what's going on and it's so aggressive with everything that's happening in society, does their nonsense kind of cloak us so people don't really know and we're kind of like hidden in plain sight? Or is it more harmful? What do you think?
Kay. Hi, Kay. What's up?
Hey, Kay. It was a channel with two Caribbeans and I bet and I Black American, and they were speaking on a delineation in the Caribbean. What? Oh, here go Kay again. So which one is you, Kay?
Guys, hold on. Let me come out. Let me cancel. Come out, okay? Because I don't know when I'm up here twice. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So which one do you want to remove?
I'm gonna keep the one with the shoes.
Okay, so I'm gonna remove the other one.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I didn't know you could do that. All right. How y'all doing tonight?
We're
Oh,
good.
we getting our convo in.
Yes, I came in when you started right after 10 minutes, and I listened to the first 5 minutes, but I had to put my phone away doing a
Mhm.
delivery, and then it was raining, so I've just been listening. I had to come out, and then I just been listening last 5 minutes.
So
Right.
here's the thing too. This is the movement for the last year or two. I would say is clear and cut. You know who you are if you're Jamaican descent. You're for the Caribbean island,
Mm-hmm.
no matter Trinidad, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Barbados. There's so many islands. The British, you know who you are,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's no confusion. You know where your parents came from. I mean, not every some people might not know because of certain,
Yeah,
situations
conditions,
and things that
circumstances.
happen in
Mm-hmm.
their life. Things do happen. Or if you're adopted or somebody gave you away or your parents died and stuff like that. But otherwise, other than that, you know who you are, you have an idea. And um Black Americans, ADOS, FBA, whichever you want to call it, NEG, Aboriginal,
Mm-hmm.
Black American, Native Indian, you know who your parents are. So there's no confusion about that. If you confuse, it's because you're in denial.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Charlie said
Okay.
it was a channel with two Caribbeans and one Black American, and they were speaking on delineation. A Caribbean woman was the second gen who was born here, and what group are they going to belong? They're not belonging to our group. We don't accept them as Black Americans. They're not a part of us. You're
But
just
Trina, is it like when you said she's second generation? So her Caribbean, both of her Caribbean parents were born here.
guess
Is that?
so, and they're calling themselves Black American. That's what I was
Nah, they're
saying.
not Black American.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm
They're
saying. But
Caribbean,
they're Caribbean.
American, Jamaican,
But you guys know
American.
something? When say for instance, you use the example as the Asian community. No matter how many generations are born here, Vietnamese are Vietnamese, Chinese are Chinese, Taiwanese are Taiwanese, Japanese are Japanese.
Yeah, they keep
They
with
don't
their
they don't play
identity.
that game. You know what I'm saying?
But Caribbeans and Africans are playing that game when they're here, and that's why I was saying when I was listening to what Megan was saying, I can probably when she was talking about the colorism part, like darker skin women follow them. I
Right. I
kind
heard
of
that
like
part.
ask. I don't think so because we don't hang with them. So why would we follow them? And now I'm getting the concept of what it is. Charlie was just saying, I've heard them say, like the girl was saying, she's a Caribbean. She was born here. So her own people and from the island that her lineage is from don't consider her them. But now, well, I was born here, so it's not fair. But you're not us. You're not a black
But you know
woman.
what, guys? They need to take that crap up with their parents because their
That
parents put
is
them in their situation, right? And I'm getting tired of Caribbeans and Africans talking about how their people don't claim them, but you never hear these same Caribbeans and Africans talk about the parents that put them in that situation. Their parents
facts.
already knew their people. Their parents were already in their native country. Their parents knew in their native country that that was the situation and still left their country and birthed their children outside that country, knowing is exactly what position they was putting their kids in. But you see these, and see, to me, I just came to the conclusion today. I was just thinking about in the past hour, and I see this, with Africans, and it looks like Caribbeans have the same issue. They don't have a mindset about accountability where they hold one
No,
another accountable. This is why they can always like look at Black American people and point the finger, and then you look at them and it's 10 times worse, and they don't say anything about themselves as if they can't see it. I said apparently there is no culture of accountability among their people, and for your parents to put you here and you don't say a word about your parents, but you want to talk about your people in your native country, your parents are right here with you. You talking about you came from a two-parent home. Both of your mom and dad are right here, raised you
facts.
first. You need to talk to your mom and dad and get out of everybody else's face.
And it's up to them that they don't take you home on a consistent basis to see who your lineage is, where you came from. That's not a Black American's responsibility.
No,
And like Charlie was saying, I don't want you a part of my group. You don't. I don't. We have enough with ours. You don't belong to us. Not at all. And
but
we
Trey,
have to make that decisiveness. We need to make that division too, because when I was looking at one, her name is Viral Debates. Her mother is Black American, and people be like, "Well, how you accept her?" Because she comes from a Black woman. I'm going to
right?
accept anything that comes from a Black woman because she's
That
raising
makes
it
sense.
Black. I'm
Yeah, that
not
makes sense.
accepting shit that comes from him. We accept it on an individual level, but we're not going to
Right.
accept them
Like
as
say in your
being us as
family, like you
women.
said, if your brother had a
Yes,
child
in
with
your
someone else,
family,
right?
yeah, but you're not a Black woman. How the hell you gonna have a child by a Black man and be Caucasian and all of a sudden say your child is Black? What the fuck is that? You, if it come out of a white womb, why can't you say it's white? That's between him and her. And I think a lot of that, that's why a lot of times people be like, oh, well, when we was on the space, they feel some type of way that I don't accept them. I don't. You're not a
But
part of
Trina,
me.
you know
And
what?
then
This
you come
sister
with you
said
come
that
with crazy shit.
this sister who was Black American, she said, like,
What was you saying, Kay?
Black American, I think
She's
back.
breaking up. Okay.
Breaking
Oh
up.
wait, hold on. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
sorry, I had to unplug it from the charger, but it's good. I'm at 80%. So this Black American sister who was a nurse, I think maybe back in the 1960s, right? She said at that time in the hospitals, right? Say if a woman had a child, particularly say if it was a white woman, or a Black woman, didn't matter. Say they had a child, right? Say the Black woman had a child, but the baby came out looking white, and let's say the white woman had a child, but obviously it was fathered by a Black man. They would
Mhm.
not question what the race was or how to put it down because they didn't have that kind of designation at the time. They didn't have like the mixed race designation on the forms. So that what they were told by hospital administration and the doctors is that if the mother was Black, put Black. If the mother's
That's
white,
it.
put white. That's what they did
That's
at that
it.
time.
I don't give a damn what her child come out to look like. That don't have nothing to do with me or us. And I think that's where Black women need to hold that line. We accepted that too. If it come from another woman and it ain't coming out womb, it ain't us. You
But
may
you know
be
the other
part
thing,
him, but you're not us. I don't give a damn.
when I
Because
was
I'm
a
tired
kid,
of accepting that bullshit too.
I remember, like I told you guys, my mom is from New York City. My dad's from Alabama, right? So I was born in New York City, like my mom, right? Because my dad had moved from the deep south up to the north, right? So
Mhm.
when we were kids, twice, 2 summers in a row, when I was 6 and 7, We went as down south. My dad came and got us and took us down south to Alabama to spend the summer with our grandmother. So it was our grandmother and our aunts and uncles and cousins all in Alabama. We spent 2 summers in a row doing that. And to this day, like we still have that bond with them to this
Hmm.
day from those 2 summers that we spent. To this day, we're in our 50s, and me and my two, other sisters, we still have that strong bond just from those 2 summers that we spent. So you made an excellent point, Trina. Like, at what point are these people taking their children back home to spend time with their family, not to visit, to spend time immersed in that environment with their
Culture. That's
people?
the culture she come from. That's the culture he come from. That's their fault. Just like
Right.
we don't have to, it's like we have to delineate on so many levels,
I
and we
agree.
get
It's
called for
layers,
filth.
Trina.
It's
It's layers
layers.
and
We
layers.
cannot
Like, it's
accept
like an
it.
onions. It's
Yeah,
like
and
you
I
pull
say,
back. Yeah, it's like multiple thin layers. You just keep peeling them back and back and
mhm.
back.
Like they said, Tiger Woods, for example, his mother's Asian.
Hmm.
Do you know they'll accept him as being part Asian, but he will not be full, and they call him black? No, he's not. He comes
Hmm.
from an Asian mother. No, he's not. But they can put their gate up. But when we do, oh, that's divisive. It ain't come from me. I'm not accepting everything you
Hmm.
lay with. And I
But
mean,
in
sister may
Tiger
be
Woods'
teaching
case,
on
I
her
think
culture, but you don't
what
have to
happened is.
accept anything that come from him on an individual level. That's your grandson.
Hmm.
That's your son's
Right, child.
your nephew. Fine. But if it don't come from a black woman, how the hell Tiger Woods can be black and his mama is Asian? She gonna raise him like an Asian.
Right.
That's
Well,
what she knows. She does not give up her culture because she's laying up with a black man. She's going to go back to her ties of being Asian. Now, her community may say, we're not going to accept him, but that don't have nothing to do with us.
I
We
think
need
in
to
Tiger Woods'
the
case,
same
what happened with him, I remember hearing a part of his childhood. His dad, his Black American father, was the one that took him to the golf course. And so I didn't really know much about his mother. I barely saw his mother, but his identity was always associated with his Black American father. So I think, for the public, I think that's what happened in his case. Like, his mom, you just didn't see her. Then he turns around, like, you never saw Tiger Woods date anybody that looked like any type of ethnicity. Not anybody with
his mom.
dark hair, brown hair, red
His
hair,
mother was very much
full
there, though. His
Asian,
mother was
part
always
Asian.
there.
Oh, okay, baby.
He was
I
very
just,
visible in his life.
yeah.
Yes, his father was in the home, but that's rare. I mean, he was one of few Black Americans who stayed
Not
because
only
we
that, he was involved in his life, just like
right because we have been on
Serena
this
and
space.
Venus' dad. He was involved in
Right.
their life,
So
right?
it's like when we've been on this space where we had an issue with angry biracial, where a lot of biracial say the father was not involved, and most biracials have um melanated fathers, Black American, African, or Caribbean fathers. So on the aspect where he was speaking as having a Black American father, I don't have to take the suffrage of what happened between these two people. I know he's
Yeah.
biracial, and I know what I raise is Black. And
But
why are
to
is
me,
don't
those biracial people, they should be standing up and protesting Black men being with women that are not. They should be doing that, because they keep talking about what a problem it is, right? And they should be standing up in full force against it. It's like that. You remember that one mixed race woman that said that every time she see a Black man with a white woman, it makes her sick, and it
Mhm.
went viral. Cynthia G did a
Yeah.
video. Miss
Mhm.
Archduchess, yeah. To me, they need to be full force with that. They need to speak again. It's because Black men will spin the narrative. Oh, they really into us, and I don't see this stopping no time soon. This train ain't stopping no time soon. They go on and on like that. But you imagine what would happen if all these biracials worldwide stood up, because you're talking about all the ones that have African, Caribbean, and Black American fathers all across this globe, and they rarely do they have good stories to tell. It's sad.
And that's between the melanated men and the women that they lay with. I'm just saying, don't dump it over here. We even get the Africans dumped because when everybody thinks of Black American, they're not going to think about no one who is from Nigeria or no one who's from Jamaica or no one who's Haitian. When they hear the term Black, they're thinking us. They're thinking
Yeah.
us.
And it's not fair for us at all.
It's not
And
fair.
I told you about my sister that's in Texas, right? And she was telling me that some area of Texas, that it used to be like an exclusive kind of upscale neighborhood, right? That was
Mhm.
way outside of Houston, way outside, like on the suburban outskirts, kind of like that, right?
Mhm.
I've never been out there. And she said that when she went for her third child, and she was having some problems and everything, and her husband kind of going through a separation at that time with her third child, right?
Mhm.
So anyway, she said when she came to the hospital, the nurses were, pretty like supportive of her, and they was like, we know you're having your issue, because I think she had come there before with her other two kids, and they was like, don't feel bad about what you're going through. You're fine. They said, do you know we get quite a few African women who are here. And I think they said some of them even worked at the hospital, women who were professional and educated. And she
Mm-hmm.
said, no, they come in here and they'll have a baby. And she said, don't give the baby up. And like, why are they giving up their baby? She said, because they're saying that that baby is their lover's baby. And she said it was happening pretty frequently. And so that
Mm-hmm.
gave me the impression like, okay, so now African women are literally dumping their African babies in the foster care system. And to me,
Mm-hmm.
that's something that Black American women have to be careful, because you think that you want to adopt a Black child, and you're probably adopting. To me, Black women need to be really careful about going to the foster care system and
Mm-hmm.
adopting the children, the mixed race children of white women, and then the full Black, I mean, not the full Black, but the African children of African women, because it's not fair that these women are, having relationships that they know that their community is not cool with, and
Mm-hmm.
then they dump innocent babies, right? It's not like these women are strung out on drugs or some in prison or something. These women, white women, they know what their community is like. They know it for the last 500 years. And
Mm-hmm.
African women, these African women are educated, professional, and this is the crap they're
So
doing.
they say. So they say. So
Um,
what I'm getting, so they say, because what I'm getting is when we get on this space and we've been on BSI space and they come with this whole family thing, and now I'm looking at when you saw that video, she said that was commonplace. If you
what was
listen to that girl, that
commonplace?
was common. When that
Wait,
woman was
Trina, hold up,
talking
hold
about,
up. Trina, what are you talking about? What video?
remember when they were saying about they have such great family structures, and I was looking at
Oh,
something with
no, no,
Hezekiah
they're
Walker.
very abusive. Flower Power
Yes,
did a video about it,
and
how
did you hear
abusive
what
they
she
are to their
said?
parents, and how
That
they're
her
doing
mother
videos
left her
about
at
the trauma.
15. Well,
Yeah,
her mother left her at 15 and 16. So we did. And where's the father? Oh, he was somewhere. You heard her saying this. So I'm like, okay, this is becoming common, but yet they always want to throw up in our faces, whether they're
mm-mm.
from the islands or from Africa. We have this strong
No,
family
they
bond.
don't. No,
And
they
I'm
don't.
like, this has all been
It's
a
a
lie.
lie.
It's
Because
time to
Trina,
call
that's what
bullshit.
BSIA was saying, was he said, look, whatever these people are saying, it's a lie. He said, I don't
Mm-hmm.
listen to anything. He said, because they'll say one thing. He said, you'll read a newspaper article that says the complete opposite of every damn word they say. And the newspaper got statistics and studies and everything. But what I remember,
Charlie said, if you
the
read
health.
in the thing, I'm gonna put it up. Charlie said they do this. There it is. But go ahead, keep talking,
Who
Kat.
said they do what? Oh, hey, okay, here.
They said
Hey,
they
hey,
do the
Charlie.
same thing in most of these African countries as millions of orphans in their
Oh my
countries and the parents
God.
are still alive and well. So
Yeah, Charlie, I
this is the
figured that out
BS
too
that
when
we
they
be
talk about
getting.
all those so-called orphans. I'm like, those are not orphans; those are abandoned children. Their parents are alive and well, walking around.
Mhm.
Most African children, those abandoned African children, they're not orphaned. There's nothing wrong with their parents. They were
Mhm.
simply abandoned. And how are you gonna claim you got and like this African girl? Remember that African student in the car with the baseball cap, American baseball cap, talking about her grades are more compared to the Indians and the
You
Asians.
ain't gonna let off of that chick's case.
No, I'm still thinking about it to this day. I was thinking about it early. Girl, I think about it every day. I think every day I think about it. I ain't lying. But she and I, they were talking about Nigerian women and African women and paternity fraud. Guys, I never heard of paternity fraud until
I
recently.
never did either.
Yeah, and I heard of paternity testing, but I never heard of paternity fraud. And they saying it is rampant among African women. I think particularly in Nigeria, and even in Europe, they will
Mhm.
complain about. They said that's why a lot of those African women are getting in trouble with the law over there because they're committing paternity fraud. So I don't know. It has something to do with government assistance and these women committing paternity fraud. I don't know how it works. I didn't look into it. But when these African people are talking about they come from a two-parent home, at this point, I'm like, I don't even know if your African father is your African father. You sitting up there talking about you come from a two-parent home. This is so prevalent, guys. It's like something that's been going on a long time among their people. They're just now talking about it, I think, because of social media, but they're like, the governments are the ones that are talking about it, and the authorities are talking about this is a huge issue with them, paternity fraud. I never heard of it until like
I
last year,
never
the
heard
middle
of
of
nothing
last
like
year.
that. I'm not saying that there aren't women in our culture who have done that, but
Oh,
that's
we
not
know there's
something
women
that's
all over the
collective.
world throughout the history of
Yeah,
time
but
that have
that's
done
not
it.
something collective. Most of Black
No.
American, over 90% of Black American women know damn well who the baby daddy is.
Right.
And
And
it's
we
funny
know
how
it
you have
does,
this
Trina,
Jerry
because
Springer thing.
so go ahead. Sorry.
And it's funny how we had Jerry Springer. If you look at the time period,
There you
and
go.
all of them talking about you not the daddy. How many of them we thought they were us? It was probably them. Just saying. I mean, most Black American women know exactly, and he know that it's his baby.
Right.
A
But
lot
that's what
of
I'm about to say, Trina, because saying they know that that's their child. Because many times when you talk about child support, you're supposed to get a paternity test. Okay. A lot of these black women, before they get child support, they're going to ask for that paternity test first to prove that he's the father. And then the other thing, with all these black men wanting to harm the women because the women are pregnant with their child. Uh, yeah, black Americans, they know who the dad is.
That's what I'm saying. Now, and the only thing that I can think of, because he was talking about her smell and her wig and all of this hygiene stuff, the only thing I
Wait,
can think
wait, what
of,
are you
and I
talking about?
said,
What video are you talking about?
when
I
we
didn't
were
see.
talking about a lot of black men were dragging black women for filth, your wig and your smelling, and you hearing them. I never heard so many black men saying this, like the wigs and the smell is horrendous, just about hygiene stuff.
Mm.
That's when I was on the space and it was on BSI, and I'm not sure if I was on Megan. Well, I said they must be lying with them, because that's when I said,
Oh.
no, you lying with them, because how you gonna know the smell if you ain't getting up close and personal? I mean, because they always, let's make this clear. Black men have procreated with these women on a mass collective thinking they were black women. I'm going to
Wow.
say it. Prove me wrong, because y'all know they know too damn much. And every time they pulling up these women, and the reason why I say it, these are black American men that we know for sure that are black American men pulling up these women who are not black American women. So I have to say, you're laying with them. You laid
Hmm.
with them. You procreated with them. I
Yeah,
would
and I
say,
didn't think about that because they always make it sound like black American women are the ones that are procreating with foreign
yeah, so no,
melanated
it's
people,
them. It's
as if
them.
it's not them.
Yeah, so he laying with them. He laying with the Caucasoid. He laying with the Asian. He laying with the Hispanic, and now you can add African and Caribbean to the list, because he laid up with them thinking it was us. So
But
there you
Trina, I
go.
told you
Gotcha.
what's going to happen. If the reparations come through, all of those women are going to come up crawling out the woodwork. All those women that have had children fathered by black men. Black men have no
Primarily, they probably
idea.
will. They
Yeah,
probably will.
because it's going to be like, you know how when they have those funerals, right? A man dies when he gets in 60s or whatever. He has a funeral. And then all these women, children showed up and they didn't even know about each other. It's going to be exactly like that. But they're going to be,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be the reparations. And then all these women are going to be popping up with all of these with all these, what do you call it, by ethnic children that were fathered by black men. And
Mm-hmm.
then it's going to find out that black men actually have fathered more by ethnic children than what black American women have birthed. Oh, when they try to make it sound like it's the
Exactly.
other way around.
That's what I'm saying. Because when I got in it with Ty, he was like, "Well, I didn't know," and then I'm looking at the space with the Caribbean and African girl with the old man. He's like, look like he 80 years old. And I'm like, that's not a black American woman. And I was disappointed, because I'm like, as black American woman, what would prevent you from doing that? Black American women wouldn't date no 80 something year old man. Oh well, but no, that's something that they do, and they do it as in their countries. They sell their
Yeah, they
daughters.
do it collectively. Trina, didn't you hear about when these white men would go to a country, right, African country, and they'll know some African guy, and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to be here for a couple of weeks. Do you know any nice lady that can keep me company?" The African guy would set him up with his wife. I don't even think the white guy
Exactly.
knows that's the African guy's wife.
I think in a lot of ways they do know, Kay. I think they know. It's
Mm.
a mutual understanding, because that's just what
Oh,
they
it's
do in their culture.
crazy. Oh my
Remember when
god.
those girls had got kidnapped? And I don't know what had happened, but they supposedly they got kidnapped, but most of the girls came back pregnant from the
Wow.
kidnappers. So these are couples who they said that I think it was on Mike TV,
Mm.
where a lot of these men will sell their daughters or their children, especially females, to settle a debt. So no, I think they know.
Oh my
I think they know.
gosh.
I
Oh my
think they
god.
know. Mike TV, even though I don't agree with a lot of stuff that he said, look at these
I
different,
know.
because
I heard of.
everybody's now calling
I'm
out
not
shit.
familiar with Mike TV. I've seen
Hmm.
Vice TV, and Vice TV is when I
Charlie has
heard
been on
about
there. Charlie has been on
them.
there, and
Yeah,
they're calling
them
it out.
chasing.
So it's
Yeah,
like
them
this is.
hunting albino people. I learned that on
Hmm.
Vice TV. Yeah, and I was horrified. I couldn't even believe that crap.
So we can't no longer be about, oh, it's about hurting their feelings. We do have to follow YouTube guidelines, but no, we gotta call this shit out. Ain't nobody gonna be dealing with this bullshit no more. We don't sell our daughters to settle no damn debt. We don't go with old white men to get his pension or his inheritance.
No.
We
For
don't. We've
real.
been
Say
around
that
white
again.
people for too long, so that's why I got mad, and I kind of got aggressive with it, because I'm like, we ain't never behaved, and we
Because see,
ain't. We're not
Katrina,
like that.
that whole thing of going after a white man's pension,
Mm.
we understand as Black Americans, Black American women, that white man, because this goes back to the plantation, has
Let's
his
get
wealth
this.
set aside for his white family and his white
Thank
children.
you.
He may put
You caught
something
it, Kay.
aside
You
for the
caught
black
it.
side. He may put something aside, maybe, right? But we know
Girl,
that most of his wealth, that's why they got generational wealth that passes down from generation. We don't have generational wealth.
look at what
So
happened with
no.
Anna Nicole.
Oh my God.
Anna Nicole was a lower class white woman, and you saw the hell that they gave her. She had to walk around with security. What do you think would happen to a Black American young woman
But
who do that
Trina,
shit?
did you see what happened to her son? And then it took her out.
Exactly.
Nobody know that wasn't. Nobody knew. Everybody know that was no accidental. Please.
So my point is this: if they'll do that with someone of their own skin tone from their own group, what the hell you think they're gonna do with a young Black American woman?
Right. You be like, you
We're
ain't
not,
doing that. Look,
we're not going with him like
if
that.
that white man was like, he put this aside for his white family, and then he put this smaller amount aside for you. Generally speaking, that's the way it worked from slavery days,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's the way it would
Mm-hmm.
go down. You wouldn't end up now. It's a possibility if you and him were the only one that were married, like you said when you talking about they may hooked up when they were young and they were in high school,
That's
college,
a
right?
whole different thing.
There,
But
right?
not no
But
young
not if
20
there's a
something year old
white
girl with an 80 something year old man.
But if
That's dangerous.
there's a white woman involved with white children fathered by that white man, Black American women don't mess around with that. We don't do that.
It's dangerous
It
because
is
you can
very.
you can lose your life behind that mess.
It's not just you, but they can come after other people that you know.
And
Like,
your
oh,
family
look,
coming with
look.
that magnitude of
They be
wealth.
like, oh, we
That's
can
why I
get
got
you,
so
but
upset. I'm
we
like,
know
how
it
dumb
will
are
hurt you
you?
more. It will hurt you more if we came after somebody that you care about, or if we couldn't
Exactly.
get to
Having that
you.
much
So
money,
since we
they're
couldn't
gonna
get to
basically
you,
charge you
we
criminally.
yeah, we couldn't get to you, so we went after somebody you know.
And they're gonna
Yeah,
charge you criminally because they'll say my father was not had no cognitive
there you go.
abilities to you will lose your life. That's why I got so upset because I thought ahead like you think that lower Black American women that all of a sudden now we are late with an 80 oh it's ain't no fucking no joke.
No,
That
Black
we
women
don't
don't
do
do
stuff
that.
like that. Certain
No,
things
we don't do
culturally
that.
we know better. And why
It's
would
not
you want to
even
be
that.
with
It's
somebody
also
who
a
is
matter of
cold?
aesthetics.
Exactly.
I have heard of Asian women doing that, particularly like when they would go to those poor Asian countries. Those girls that can be young as 13 or 14 years old, but those girls are kind of raised and conditioned to do that because their families are in poverty and they try to use their daughters to get some money or to get out of poverty in a way. So I've
Mm-hmm.
heard of that. Girl can be 13 or 14 years old and white man is like 80 years old. They had this on a talk show. I saw it. A talk show, a major talk show. I can't remember who it was. This was in the 90s, and there was an 80-year-old guy. He was dressed like a priest. I remember this. He was some kind of went over there to like one of the Southeast Asian with her, and he said that the family had lined up three of their daughters, and he ended up choosing the youngest one. I think she was like 14 or something. And they
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Why did you choose her?" He said, "Oh, it was about where the pickle squirted." That's where he said it. It was about where the pickle squirted. Oh, she was the one that made his pickle squirt. That's what he said. I remember this clearly
Oh,
today.
that's disgusting.
Yeah, I
These
never
are
heard of black
behaviors
people
that
doing that.
we're not in. We're not into that. What happened to us
Trina,
during
Definitely
slavery? We
not.
had no choice.
the other
We
thing
had
is
no
say
choice.
say if a black family or black somebody did that to a young girl, a black girl, they would keep it secret. You know what I'm saying? Where it would come out later on if the daughter spoke about, oh, this is what my dad or someone in the family did to me. They picked me out to this old white man. But generally speaking, they wouldn't openly do something like that.
You seen what happened with Maya Angelou, and that was during the time that everything was very much black and white, and the racism and the prejudice was high. You saw why she wrote the book I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings, because
Right. I
when
remember
a
that.
family member did that, they deleted that mother freaker, and
Right.
she never talked for a long time because she felt that her voice took his life. So
But
we
if
have,
that's
yes.
interesting that she cared that much about him after what he did,
No, it wasn't so much. It was, yeah, that was interesting because she still looked at it as a life. But the whole aspect is, do we have that type of behavior in our yes, but we don't condone it. We
but
don't
Trina,
normalize it.
you know what was amazing about her story? Her uncles were the ones who defended her. Too often,
Mm-hmm.
that black family has become so degenerate. You hear about the uncles violating the daughters, right?
Exactly.
That's right.
But in her
And it
family,
has to be. That's
the
why Tyler
uncles
was able to do
took
that
him.
movie.
Yeah, her uncles took him the fuck out.
Took that sucker out.
Shoot,
And this is the thing.
I thought it
This is
was
the thing.
admirable.
this is the thing. It is not something condoned, but it is something that has been condoned. Is it condoned as a collective? No. Is it something that we've tried to hide? Yes, because it's so embarrassing. This is normalized in their culture. I would say over 70% of the time, no, Black Americans don't condone that mess. 25% of the time, we will hide that shit because it's embarrassment. We don't want nobody to know that your uncle is actually that's your daddy's child or whatever. It's just embarrassing because in that time period we did hide it. Like if the
But see, I'm
father
talking
did
about people that
something and
came
you
out of
know
a
and she's
deeply
carrying the
Christian
father's
background.
child or vice versa.
They were deeply Christian too, though, religious.
Mm-hmm. We're kind of funny about that. When you saw stuff, that's why a lot of people was upset about what happened with the industry, and you seen that stuff with R. Kelly and Aaliyah and everything. It came to a point in the time where you have to question the whole mindset of the parents. But then I have to say, were some of those Black American parents too?
Oh, I didn't
Because
think
we're
about
not the
that part.
only ones in the music industry
Yeah.
either.
Yeah,
And
but
everybody
I
went
see,
off
like,
that.
what's wrong with the parents talking about they introduced their daughter to R. Kelly for what?
Mm-hmm.
Your daughter
Knowing the bullshit that went on with Aaliyah.
and then they try to
Like,
talk about, well,
wow.
it was because her musical career. No, it wasn't. You're lying. I knew. You're
And
lying.
Aaliyah's parents did have her shit annulled. Let's get that clear.
Oh,
They
they
had it.
did. I didn't know that.
No, it was annulled.
I never knew
That
that.
whole relationship between her and R. Kelly was annulled. So what happened after that? And then not too long after that, Aaliyah went on to be under other um record industries. Now, was she passed around or different things happened? Probably so, but her parents did annul it. Just like Joe Jackson and all that marriage with Janet Jackson and James DeBarge. It's
What?
like you will see, yeah, James DeBarge was married to Janet Jackson when she was 17. They annulled that shit.
How old was James DeBarge?
James DeBarge, I think, was 18 or 19, and Janet was 17. They
Well,
were
why
young.
did he annul it?
Her father annulled it.
Why?
Joe wasn't having it.
Why did he have an issue with it?
Well, she was 17 and he wasn't having it. You know how Joe Jackson is. I can't question that.
Okay.
When they got of age, then hey, it is what it is.
Do you think she had a baby?
I wonder. Everybody still keeps talking about it. I wonder. They say no. Some say yes. I don't know. It's just the weirdest thing. I mean, maybe in time we'll find out. But as of now, she only claims that one child. So I don't know.
So Janet Jackson had a baby at 50. After 50, Tyra Banks had a baby, I think, close to 50, and then Naomi Campbell had one too, right? I don't know if Naomi Campbell was adopted or
I don't know. But Janet Jackson had her son.
right.
She did have him. But that's what I'm getting tired of too, because it's like Black American women got this reputation. We lame with the African, we lame, but we lame. We minding our damn
Not
business.
really. Not really.
We ain't laying up all over the
I was
goddamn
listening
place, and
to
I'm like, get out of our face with this dumb shit.
yeah, you know
Because
what? I
I'm
was
like,
listening to Cynthia G, right? And so she had a panel and she had a Hispanic guy on there, right? It was a couple of Hispanic guys. And so then a black guy came up, old brother with mush mouth, right? Well, I'm just saying to you Hispanic brothers that if we have, I come to your country and I date your women, it shouldn't be a problem. Just like if you date our women, the Hispanic guy shut him down immediately. He said, look, black women are not checking for Hispanic men like that.
we're not.
And so, when these brothers, our own black American men, are trying to make it sound like we with everybody, these men would check our black American men and tell them straight up, no, your women are not like with us like that.
Mm-mm.
No.
Just like we're not laying, and you would have had that thought because I was like, well, Trina, you had a child by a Caribbean, 30 something years ago, but I'm rare. I don't know too many black women. I have met some because they were here, but as a collective, most black American women have children by black men.
Yes.
And that's not to say you shouldn't step out. Let's get this straight. We don't have to um 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 explain
That's
nothing to
right.
anybody. It's our choice where we
Nobody.
want to lay. We don't owe them shit. You can
That's
lay
right.
where you want to lay. But what my point is, don't be putting that whole shit over here because we've been careful. You laid up with them. That's why you know what they wig look like and they balding on the edges and funky. Because how you gonna know they funky unless you getting all up in it, and how you gonna know what's under the wig unless you took it off? That's why I went off. I said, how the fuck you know her? She got bald edges. Ain't no black women balding. We've been doing hair for over 500 something years here. We have hair. We know how to do our hair. We know how to wash our ass. So you went up in it. That's why you know what it smelled like and what's under the wig.
So Trina, you said you went off. When was this?
because we was on BSIA channel. They was like, I said that's when I went over to them, and I don't know which panel we was on. I was like, y'all laying up with them.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all laying up with them. Keep our names out your mouth. And because most black women know, and at that time the cool man was on there with me. He was like, well, some women we don't know. Well, how the fuck you don't know? I mean, at first glance you may not, but you never look to see who our
Trina,
family is
if you
because they're
start
not. They
dating
just
with
want to
them,
hit it and quit it.
Trina, if you start talking to them, hanging out with them, hanging out in their home, you're gonna know that they're different from you.
Well, I guess they not going to know because all he going for is that big fake bunkie that smells like something that he says, and that wig that's lopsided, but it look all right enough that he gonna pop it and then roll out. Black women go differently when you're going for a relationship. You're going to get to know him before you just drop your drawers and see where he's from. You're going to ask him some questions, and hopefully along the way, unless it's just a layup, you're going to try to figure out who his family is, where he come from. I
Yeah.
don't know too many black women who just that promiscuous. I'm not saying it don't occur as a collective who just going to say, "Oh, you look good. Let me drop my drawers and give it to you." That's not how it works with us.
No,
Because
you
if
know
we
what
were
I
that type
heard?
of women, then he wouldn't be saying here, "Oh, that's why we go with Caucasoid women or Asian women because they do all of this stuff that you won't do." So either we are around here 304 and or we not doing it. You can't be both.
Yeah, but
So
black
there are certain
Trina,
things as a collective that we just don't do. We ain't gonna put our mouth on everybody pipe, and we ain't gonna bend over and twerk it like it's hot like that. We tend to be more selective. Now, if you find a woman who's like that, maybe she mental in the head, and I've known most of the time, 90% of the time, when she just giving up like that, something done happened in her childhood. Mentally, it done fucked her up, and that's why she going out here doing it. Now they got us up, I heard, for ghetto gagging. I said, we ain't the one in them pictures.
oh my God,
I
I was
know
over
that's
and
for
over and
a
over
fact.
about that, and I said that did not sound like Black American women. I was really
No, honey, I done prescribed the tapes 10 years ago, 20 years ago when I worked in 15. Let's go,
right.
15. Because my daughter was 5. I did it as a second job. It was not us.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get us to do that for our man on his birthday. You think we just gonna randomly just slurp it up on any man? That's not true.
Yeah.
Not.
So they
Most
go to
black men
ghetto.
will tell you what they wives. They'll be like, babe, it's my birthday coming up. It's the holidays. I did good. Can you? Yeah, that's your husband or your man that you've been with. But we ain't just and they said it. I think what's his name? Ebro and Rothenberg. They even said it when Plies was on there. Black women just don't put their mouth everywhere. It's not to say we don't do
But
that.
you
We're
see,
just kind
that's
of
interesting.
selective.
So you said that Ebro said that Ebro's like mixed race, right?
Ebro is part white, part black, and he said it is true. Black women won't.
Yeah.
We are
See,
very
but
high
see,
on
Trina, that's what I'm
hygiene.
saying. Because just like that Hispanic guy said, no, Black women are not checking for Hispanic. That's what I'm saying. These other men will tell the truth. Black American men will try to paint us that we doing this, that,
Yeah,
and other.
because he
But these
out
other
there.
men
When
will
you
step up to
guilty,
the
what
plate and
you
say,
do?
no, Black women are
When
not.
you guilty, what do you do? When you guilty, what do? You
You try
try
to
to
make it
play the
sound like
part.
someone else is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now I'm not checking for them. I'm checking for them to the aspect that I know my man. I
Right.
know my man. I know what black men. I know black men because I grew up around black men. That's on him if he want to paint me as dirty. Then what's going to come back on him? That's between him and the Almighty. But I know that's why I said I know black men. When they was talking about colorism, we don't talk. They don't look at colorism the same way. Mike TV had it on there. I said they suffer from mental illness. That's not colorism with their doggone skin bleach and shit. That
Yeah,
he
that's
was on there, and the woman was calling the other woman yellow. I said, "What's she calling yellow?" My mom was sitting right here. Is she calling her hair yellow? Because that's the only thing on the chick that's yellow. Her skin is dark skin like mine. And if you call that yellow, what the hell you call my daughter? White?
yeah, I
You call
agree.
my daughter and my son
Trina, did you
white?
hear
What do you
recently
call
that
other
one
people?
video
Casper?
clip where that African guy was talking? Remember that Hispanic guy that was talking about how much he loved Black women, the darker the better. He was talking to the African guy. So he said to the African guy, "Okay, well now I told you what I like about Black women. What do you like about women that you date who are not Black?" And he said, "Well, I don't like. I want to have white children." And like, how is an
Mhm.
African man going to have white children? What?
He's not. But I think in their color conscious, that is in their mind. That's in their mind. That's why I said we don't have no camaraderie with these people. Pan Africanism is a farcity, it's dead, it's
Yeah.
bullshit. It was started by, and people be like, and they'll say, like, I heard my TV, Black American. No, it was actually started in Europe in the late 1800s. And actually, a Caribbean was at the forefront of it, and it was from Trinidad. We need to know our facts before we just spout shit the fuck out of here. Read,
That's right.
it's on stuff. We didn't start it, but we damn sure they planted it and we watered that shit, but we didn't start that stuff. And it was started to basically stop the colonization of Africa, and it was started as a white supremacist tool. It's their tool. As you can clearly see, Africa is fully colonized, ran over, run through, run out, and everything else. So it didn't work. And then them bringing that dumb shit here don't make no sense. And then when BSIA basically brought up what African is, I won't want to associate with that name either. I didn't know African meant one step above a primate. I ain't
I
no
never heard
goddamn
that.
monkey.
Yeah, I never heard. It's my first time hearing that.
Oh yeah, Carl Linnaeus, African. Africa was named by a European. Nigeria was named by the white man's side
Right.
chick. That's what we call them, a mistress.
Yeah, but all
That's
those
why they don't
African
have.
countries were
Yeah, I'm like,
created
this
by
shit is crazy.
men.
And it was meant to be a business, not a country.
Right, like a corporation.
Yes. So that being said, we don't have no camaraderie with these people. How you get along with them on an individual basis, again, I have no problem with that, because not everybody's bad on the individual level. But when it comes to us as a collective, hell no. We don't have no relations. We don't have no camaraderie. That should be done on an individual level, on a personal level. That's your business. Like how you get along with any other person from any group. But we can't keep doing this kumbaya and we all one. And that's, don't even with that brother and sister shit. You ain't my damn sister. I'm an only child. Get the fuck out of here. Ain't no my brother, my sister. Ain't none of that shit. I stopped that a long time ago. Am I hateful towards any of these people? No, I like the different groups of people. But now you gonna come over here and all of y'all want to be black? What the fuck? You done forgot totally who you are. I'm actually helping you to fuck out before you go schizophrenic, because you're gonna lose your fucking mind pretending to be something that you're not. Putting on my clothes don't make you me. You don't come from my lineage. You don't come from my heritage. This shit is ridiculous. And America's going through the karma that it deserves because it tried to basically smite us. And they bit
But
their
you said,
own nose
you
off
said
to spite their damn face.
Trina, what were you saying? I mean, because we were just talking about it briefly about. You said that there were Caribbeans that were second generation or third generation, and they were saying that they were
That's
trying
what
to.
Charlie was saying. And they were arguing back and forth. And she was on the panel. Charlie have to, I'm gonna see if I can find it. And
Mhm.
she don't feel that it's fair because she don't have nothing in chart and what you call it with the islands. I that's you blame your mama on that bullshit. It ain't got nothing to do with us. But you definitely not gonna be over on this side. You gonna get the hell out of here. You're not coming to wait a minute. And she said they seem to be pan-Africanism. So I
But
did
they
hear
probably
that when they
would
be here
embrace
for so long, their
Africanism.
culture don't accept them, but that's not our problem. Don't got nothing to do with us. That's your parents' problem. You're gonna get the hell out of my business. Grandma and grandma say, stop acting like you never had anything. I don't know where she put it at. Charlie had put it in here and they was on the panel and she said, I guess she was saying she was born here. So I guess she don't have no camaraderie with her. But that's her parents' fault. That's
Yeah,
her
you know
parents'
what?
fault. And that's
Regardless
all
of
of their
what,
fault.
there's a whole community of Caribbeans in this country, right? Whole community of Africans. So even if whatever issues they may have in their native country, they still have a community here. So why are they pretending otherwise? They have an
I
entire,
don't know.
you know.
Because their identity or their whoever they however they represent themselves is so bad that when I was looking at how that Chinese boy brought that girl home and she looked like she was Somalian or Ethiopian,
Mhm.
that Chinese man said the neighbors, he wanted her out the house. I mean, it was everything, but he was happy to see his son. He hadn't seen him in a while, but he wasn't happy that he brought that home. I don't know, but I don't know us as black women who going to really try to figure it out because I'm not going across the board to no damn China to be with no China man. Oh, she was
Thank you.
Ethiopian. So we don't give a fuck.
We don't have to belittle ourselves as a
No,
people.
and I'm not going over there to get with no China man.
But here's the thing. Most of us see this place here, America, USA, whatever you want to call it, as our home.
Right.
And so we don't have nothing to hide. And we're not trying to be something we're not.
Not. We're not. That's not our makeup.
No.
But he was saying, Somali said that Africans are doing, they calling themselves Black American. And the reason why they doing it, that's our fault. We keep doing dumb shit. You hiding from your blackness. Motherfuckers, they ain't black. Stop calling them black. Excuse my language. Stop calling them black. You giving them the tool. You are doing it. They're not black. It don't have nothing to do with no color. So what the fuck? Well, now we got black Chinese. You're gonna have a black Indian. Now we got, I'm a black nigga. I'm a black nigga. That's what the Indians said.
I
We're from
said,
India. Let us have some brains and stop doing it. Or other than that, get your ass off and stop complaining that you don't have a space. They're not black. They're not a different type of black. They're not aesthetically black. They're none of that. They're just Africans and Caribbeans from the homeland that they're from. Call them what they're called when they come there. I ain't like no Chinese person all of a sudden change their motherfucking name when they come here. They still are Chinese in America. What is the difference? But you can't, and you will not get a Chinese person, a Korean person, both having camaraderie just because they say they Asian. As a matter of fact, a lot of times they will make sure they signify their difference.
yeah.
Okay, so that's what we need to do. And just and the only black and white is us. We're black. We don't need no other additives in our group. We don't need no Africans. We don't need no Caribbeans. We don't need no Afro Latinos. Call them the country that they're from. Now, how we gonna do with that African American thing? I would basically say that was a term that we used in the past, and anything under that still belongs to us. But if you want to call them Africans, make sure you say Africans from the continent. Put them under there, Caribbeans, so they'll know. So that term wouldn't go to them as African American. They'll go as Nigerian America and Nigerian citizen in America.
Right.
Call them that.
Right.
Nigerian citizen in America.
Well, I had a white
Tribe
American
Igbo
woman say
or
the same
Yoruba,
thing.
whatever the fuck they come from.
Yeah, I had a white American woman say the same thing to me about 15 years ago. So, and she was saying, because I was kind of confused. This is just like when I know some Africans were first coming here. It's like, okay, well, what do we call them? Are they African American? And she said, no, I consider you African American. She said, them, I would probably call them like Nigerian American or something like that. But she said, I would not call them African American.
He said, Somali said Yvette agreed that black, because that's because they're stupid. The reason why it's not passed because half the time they didn't
Wait,
look.
wait.
It
Somali
ain't passed.
said what?
She said Yvette agreed that black is passe and agreed no, it's not passe.
I agree.
Because if we do not check this bullshit now with they lazy asses, this will go down. Because I'm gonna tell you one thing: if black Americans don't check it, the world is checking it. They're here in this spot. So we can either do it and due diligence and fix this bullshit, or the world will fix it. Now let's take our pick. Yvette is not the end all and be all. She's just another one for a part of our group. But if we don't fix this bullshit now, I guarantee you the world is fixing it because they're fixing it as we speak. They don't give a damn if we want to call ourselves howdy doody. The moment that they heard that they not black and they know what's going on, you ain't getting up in none of their countries. They not playing with these people.
Yeah, because I told you about that immigration thing. I told my sisters about this a couple of days ago. You know how they now instituting England is now instituting that Americans have to have a come through a visa system. And my sister said immediately, she said yes because of all these people they are coming illegally. She knew it because when I first heard, I was kind of right. It took me a couple of days to figure out what the
Yes.
hell was going on. But then, yeah, so that's what it is. These people think that they can come in. Like I said, you remember I told you about that video that Flower Tower did. That one guy was basically acting like a black American, talking about an Italian. He was in Italy. Italian woman walked up to him and said, "Are you Nigerian?" Because Nigerians always like they're nothing up to nothing good. And he says, "Well, I'm from America, and we don't know where we're from." And but I took a DNA test, and it said I was Nigerian, right? And I didn't realize, I didn't catch on to what this guy was saying the first time I heard it. But then, like 9 months later, I happened to replay it and I caught it. I said, I'm listening to his words and I said, some of his words sound like he got a slight accent, right? I'm taking a real close look at him and I'm like, he doesn't look quite black American. And then I'm listening to what he is saying. And when he says, well, I'm from America, and in America, we don't know where we're from, I caught it right there. I said, no, black Americans never say we don't know where we're from. That's what Africans say. That was a dead giveaway right there. And then I had initially thought he said, well, I took a DNA test and it said that I'm part Nigerian. I said, yeah, a lot of black Americans will take a DNA test and it might say they're part Nigerian, blah, blah, blah. But he didn't say I was part Nigerian. He said I took a DNA test and it said that I am Nigerian. You see, I caught that. That was the second thing. But the thing was, it made me realize that this Nigerian guy thought that he can come to the United States, cosplay as a Black American, get a U.S. passport, and then go to Europe, and that the Europeans would think he was Black American. But what happened as soon as he got there, he was sitting down having his food, and a European Italian woman walked right up to him and said, "Are you Nigerian?" She knew exactly who he was and what he was. It didn't matter that he had an American, pretty much like an American accent or a U.S. passport, and he acted like he was offended about her saying something negative about Nigerians, but I picked up on it. I said, no, this has nothing to do with her saying anything negative about Nigerians. He's upset that she knew who he was and what he was.
She said Mike TV had a good stream. There was a Twitter space. Some African men wanted to enslave us because they say we have material that's valuable in our DNA. What? Are you serious?
But that's like those albinos, them chasing down and hunting albinos, talking about their limbs have magical properties.
See, that's when we need to stop all of the nonsense. And all of this calling them black, it has to be with us as a collective on big spaces, because what the idiots don't realize they gonna do is you trying to do this for a bag, but they trying to do this for your life. So keep playing pussy. You gonna get fucked screwed my language. You have to stop. This is not no joke. When I found that they was doing that, excuse my language, excuse it on YouTube. But to me, when you saying stuff like that, I think we need to really, really, Black women, be the first one to make that charge. We have to do it.
What charge?
Ty directed, did it, but call it out every time. They're not Black. I don't give a damn. I don't give a dang how tedious it may be. They're not Black. They're not Black. They're not Black. And we're not African. They're not Black. We're not African. Every space that you get on, let it be known. I don't care how petty, how feudal, how precise. Every time, they're not Black and we're not African. If you have to make that aspect right there. For her to say that's passe, they want that, because what they'll do is they'll go and say, "Oh, I'm a Black American."
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
She ain't looking at it like that. The
You know
same way
something?
we have to stop it, though. We have to stop it. Go ahead.
I was
Continue.
watching what was it, TMZ, and it was right when that thing with what's his name, that actor that got convicted recently for beating up on his white girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? Mike? Is it Michael? What's his name? I can't think of his name right now. But anyway, they did. You know how TMZ would cover the news story, right? And then they'll bring people up on a live stream, like random people up on a live stream, fans of the show, to see what their perspective is, right? So anyway, they bring up a guy. I'm looking at him like, oh, this guy's African, but he's had pretty much like American accent. The first thing this guy said, you guys, the very first thing he said is, "I am from Detroit." That's the very first thing he said. Now, mind you, these are the same people that will sit up here and talk about, you Black Americans, you don't know where you're from. You don't know where you're from. The very first time I heard that, I'm like, they sound primitive when they say it. That's one. And two, they're jealous that you are from America. This has nothing to do about you knowing where you're from in Africa. That's bullshit. This is all about their jealousy about you being from America. Now, you see, when they're here, the first thing they want to do is talk about they're from Detroit. No, he said not Detroit. What was it? I'm from Baltimore. That's what he said. He was from Baltimore. Okay, that's another thing we have to do. It's not a matter of just saying they're not Black. We have to say, no, they're not from Detroit. They're not from Chicago. They're not from Baltimore, whatever. They're from Africa. Black Americans are from Philadelphia, Detroit, New York City, Atlanta, Georgia, Alabama, Texas, etc. We're from those cities and those states. Africans are not from those places. It's
They're
not
not.
like Alabama, Black Americans and Africans come from Alabama. Get the fuck out of here. They're not from Alabama. I don't give a fuck how many are born there. I don't care how many of them move there. They are not from Alabama. They are from Africa. Black Americans are from Alabama. Caribbeans are not from Alabama. That's another thing. That's another campaign that we have to wage.
Mm-hmm. We can make that change, but it's going to have to be a fight. Like I said, Todd did it, but look, if we have to take it and do what we got to do, Trina, listen to this space. Wow. Listen to this. They can extract uranium and mercury from our nervous system without unaliving us. Without unaliving us? And they said they can extract, without unaliving or aliving?
I want to know that.
Without oh.
if this was on the Twitter space, I want to know.
Is it something that they trying to do with them? I'm wondering if that's something that they trying to do to them, Charlie, and they want to say it to us. Because you get too many of us to do that, man, we gonna have an outrage up in here. But like I said, I seen a lot of them coming over here that's melanated. Is it them and they thinking it's us that got it? It's probably them. That's why they invited them to come, because I don't see them walking around like that. Might be them they actually trying to get it from, and they trying to say it's us. We don't have the same
DNA.
other ethnic who are saying Africans and Caribbeans aren't black. They should. Don't call them black. And we aren't African. We aren't African. It has to start somewhere. But we keep doing nonsense. Oh, you're ashamed of your black. They're not black. They can't be ashamed of something that they not. So that's the first term. Oh, well, because if you can't do that, then you can't get mad when they in spaces that you don't want them in, because you give them black. So when they say, oh, well, I'm black, so I'm in America, I'm black American. I'm African, so I'm in America. That's what I am Elohu did. You doing it. We doing it. And then we want to get mad with this intelligence that we spew out, but you're doing it. And then Pan-Africanism and this hotep and this over-religious concept of doing this stuff is the stuff that's having them do this mess. Just call them from the country that they come from. It's that simple. It ain't going to kill your brain cells to use a little extra to say, oh, you're Nigerian in America, you know, a Nigerian citizen in America. That's all you have to say. We are giving them this power, and then we wondering why we fighting it. We like keep stepping all over ourselves and our words. We're too far intelligent for that. They don't need to be a part of our group, and we don't need no extra extension of black to be some global power. That is not going to fucking happen. It's not going to happen, because they don't have any power in their lands. It's owned, divided, divvied up, and it's been like that for centuries. We ain't gonna have no collective unity with them, and we ain't gonna have no collective power. It's never gonna happen unless God, if you believe in them, because I do, bust open the sky and pull us all together, because it ain't gonna happen with us and them. We have to formulate who we are. They don't even come together like that. They're very tribal in their own, and they have every right to be. That's not going to change something that they've been for thousands of years. Enough is enough.
Trina, you remember that African woman that was saying colorism is tribalism? We're like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
I thought you should cover that particular statement when you do your next live about the difference between colorism and skin bleaching. I think that's what you're
Yeah,
doing.
I did have something skin bleaching versus colorism. So
Right.
that will be on that where we'll discuss that further, and I'm hoping to get it up. And if y'all have any context, because when I was looking at all of these skin bleaching, I said this is not no colorism. These motherfreakers are mentally ill. Like I said, she was calling the woman yellow, and I'm telling you, Kay, she was darker than me. Only thing that was yellow on the woman was this wrap around her head. And she called her yellow. What you think you are? I mean, these motherfuckers is these people. Forgive me, I'm with it because I just took my little pill, so I'm a little off. These people are off. I was sitting there watching this, so I'm saying to myself, "Oh my gosh!" And then they'll sit there and say, "You are obsessed with the white man." No, you are. So now I thought they were just trying to be light skinned. No, I think they're really trying to be white, and they're literally deleting themselves to be white. It's crazy.
Yeah, but that makes sense. Like that African guy said, he wanted to have white kids. Like we're Black Americans and we have European ancestry. We coming off different skin tones, and we know damn well we're not about to produce no white kids. We don't care if the kid has a white parent. We know that's not a white kid.
It is not.
So how's
It
a
is not.
guy who's dark skinned, full African, going to say he wants to have white kids? That's
It
it.
ain't gonna be white.
But that's what he thinks. That's what he said. He said he wanted to have white kids. That's what he said.
Well, they think we're white. And if anybody closer to white, it's us. I saw a girl and I watched her, and I'm not gonna say the family, but it wasn't strange when they were saying it was something we was used to. And I was watching the space on Hezekiah Walker, and she was like, and I was Hezekiah News. If y'all watch it, Hezekiah News, support that station, Hezekiah News, and um white passing. This was in the 80s. At that time, I would have been like 16, 17. She said, but it's nothing new to us because that's who we are. The white passing was just a black person, had nothing to do with skin tone. So BSI was 100% correct on it. And she had chose to marry a white man. And the other one, she was real light, but she had light green eyes or whatever the case may be. And she had like, her hair, and both hair, her hair was a little bit more textured. But when you look at them, one did pass. She literally passed as white. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, this isn't new to us. That's
No,
why when people say to us, oh, like when I was here in Flower Tower, I love her to life, we're primarily darkest. No, we're not. We're
no.
not. It's not being ashamed. We can't be all dark skinned with 4C hair and we mixed up the hell like we are. That's stupid. That's because you want to be under that Pan African
No,
shit.
no. I think with Flower Tower, because she's from Detroit, and I
Mhm,
think what happens, I think you have black people that have they congregate in certain areas, right? And they
mhm.
have been in those inner urban areas or country areas, and they have been there for good 3 generations or so. So everyone is kind of like intermixing in that particular environment.
Yeah,
So they
because I'm
don't
like,
really
that's
travel
not what
much
I see.
outside of that environment. They're just there, and they just going by what they see in their environment.
Yeah,
They're not going by what they see in Black America all across the country. So if they're in
yeah,
an
that's,
environment and most of the
oh,
black
okay.
people are
Because
dark
I couldn't
skinned,
understand where
that's
she
what
was
they're going
coming
by.
from.
Yeah,
Because
I used to think it
I
was
have to
weird
check
too when I
back.
would hear it.
Yeah, I
When
have
I
to
would hear
check
them say
back
that, I
on
was
that.
like, what are they talking about?
No,
But I
I'm
have
like,
to
no, no, what
realize
the hell wrong with you? No, we
my
all don't look
parents are
like
from
that.
two different parts of the country, and so I saw that from one end to the other. People were, dark brown, like from one end, from New York City all the way down to Alabama. But then I realized there are a lot of Black American people. They just tend to grow up in one area of the country, and their parents come from that area, and they may have been in that
Yeah.
area for three
Because me
generations.
and BSIA got on there, and I think Mama Dad was on there. Most of us had 4C hair. That's a fucking lie. There's nothing wrong with 4C hair, but we don't. Stop that bullshit. Hair
But what
texture
is
doesn't have
okay?
nothing
What
to do
is
with skin
four
color.
C hair though? What is four C hair
4C
exactly?
hair is something like more textured, it's thick. It tends to be an afro or a bush, but a lot of us don't have that hair texture.
No,
We Some
I
of
don't.
us
I
do,
think
some
as
of us
Black
don't.
Americans, we need to leave that whole hair
Stop.
grade
That's what I'm
alone
saying.
when they
Stop
try to
that
talk
dumb
about
shit.
one A, 2C, 3B, 4.
Yeah,
Because if you just go by Black American hair texture, right, we would have an entirely different hair scale. They'll probably cover 100 different hair textures.
exactly. You
So
you
I don't
you
go with that
can't
whole
say we're
4B.
mixed.
It's
You can't
extremely
say we're
limited.
mixed and we have 4C fucking hair.
Yeah,
Majority of
that
us
don't
we
make
don't.
sense. Particularly
Doesn't
now
make
when you talking
any
about
sense.
Trina, Northern European ancestry from Northern Europe. Come on.
Come on. And then you got the Indians mixed in your ass. Then you got the Asians mixed in there, and God knows what else. And then you mix, and then you do the mix. You had a whole aspect where you had to pass
And a lot of
down
mixture of
paper
different
bag
African
test.
ethnicities too.
Yes. Now, do we have some 4C? Absolutely, but our 4C is not like an African's 4C. We have, and if we do have that texture, that could be a group too, and that does not have anything to do with skin tone. That's why I started getting upset in a lot of different ways, because I'm sitting here like, I know I'm not letting these motherfuckers tell me that I see something that I don't. I knew what I grew up with, and we came in all different shades, and
Right.
hair texture had nothing to do with hair color. My cousin
No, it
Keisha
didn't.
is chocolate, but her hair is deep waves. You know that shit that we buy off of the wigs. The reason why it looks so good on us and we can wear it, she's chocolate with deep waves. Big deep waves. Her hair was down to her ass. Both parents chocolate, dark skin. Dark skin. Her father slept on the other side, had a child by another one. Her sister Sid had basically more light brown hair. Both of them had long hair. Guess which one had the more textured hair? Sid. So if you know how black men step out, one by a light woman, one by darker women. He married the darker one, surprisingly. But both of them had two different women now. Both his girls, but you could see the hair texture, and Sid had light eyes. Light skin, real light. Sisters. One chocolate, one light, two different women. Yes, you're going to get that. But when I'm saying we all had like hair, that's another thing. When did black women as a collective, no offense, Kay, we aren't all we were doing hair. I remember the ribbons, the cotton ribbons, the barrettes, the ballies. The ballies came out more so in the 80s.
Yeah,
The
the
ribbons and
Bobos.
stuff were with us. Yes.
Nah, we
The
was wearing
ballies.
Bobos in the 70s. The Bobos and the
Yeah,
ribbons and the barrettes. But I remember the cotton
exactly.
ribbons, the long twisted cotton ribbons. That was very
Yes.
popular in the 70s. I remember those.
Yes. So all of a sudden we bald headed. We don't know how to do no hair. I'm like, that's when I started getting hype and getting mad and losing it. And I had to like calm myself down. My mom said, instead of you getting upset, tell what you are in your history. Because I'm looking at my baby pictures and I'm like, I am 50. I'll be 54, God willing, this year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm looking at my baby pictures and looking at the outfits that they put on you with the ruffle socks and the hair being done. I mean, majority of us collectively as a Black American woman knows what it's like to have your hair done and know when we had to get up for Easter. And maybe we had some parents because of our religious beliefs that they didn't do that. But as a collective, most little Black American girls, that's what I was saying with UK, where I came from, my hair was done.
Well, I had lived with my Christian parents. Like my mom
Right.
was Muslim when I was born, right? But
Hmm.
by the time I got older, she had divorced my dad. So I don't ever remember my mom being Muslim. I can't. I have no memory of her being Muslim. So, but
Right.
the first few years after they were divorced, we lived with my mom, and so she had started going back to church again. So we had that Christian, like I said, what? And then I went to my dad's side, and they were Christian, right? So I lived with them in
Hmm.
Alabama. So we did on both sides, went to church, got your hair done, wore the church dress with the ruffle socks, patent leather shoes, went to Easter, had to do the Easter, like, Easter, had to memorize a poem for Easter, stand in front of the church and say the poem, and, went for Christmas and, oh, all
Hmm.
that stuff.
That's
Yeah.
why I got upset when we would hear like if most Black women had hair like Megan's or in it. I'm like, what do you mean? And I don't think we were upset about, and that's his thing. I think that's the thing what Black men want. Okay, so I'll say his personal level. But growing up as a little girl, we were not jealous of Black women. We're not trying to be Black women. We're not trying to be white women. White women. You always took pride in the different hairstyles because it was always something new coming up.
That's true.
Black girls had the most different types of hairstyles, so it was more
Right.
so them trying to emulate our hairstyle. I mean, because you could do your hair in like hundreds of
But
different
that's
ways.
the way black people always were. You remember the Wizard of Oz, right? The wizard. Wait, he's on down the road, right? And you remember
Hmm.
that one scene when they're showing like the people are like, oh, this week is red, and I would be called
Yeah,
any color, and then the next week is green. It's like that's the way Black American people are. There's always a latest craze and fashion
always,
trend,
especially
and
with
so
girls.
yeah, with the hairstyles, what you're saying makes sense.
Yes, that's why I said, where's this stuff that we're jealous and you're trying to be white? We don't even hang with white women like that.
That's
And that's
true.
what my mom said. She listened to me. She said, you the dummy sitting there letting them get you hyped up over these simple behind women. Y'all know how y'all dress. We always was rocking it. She said, at some point in time, have your own mind because that's how he control you with his dumb shit. We're not concerned about white women, but they're concerned about what we wear. You the one going all the way to a butcher doctor to get you a big ass and to get your nose and your lips pulled out and your cheeks. I'm not
Let's
going
all
all over these countries to do that shit.
Dr. Frankenberry.
Yes. Now I figured out who was getting the booty jobs. It was look because I figured well African women had butts. So when I looked at them, they were showing the women they were Caribbean. Ain't no Black
Ah,
American women going there to get their
I thought
booty
that
done.
was so weird that black women will be getting butt enhancement. I'm like, black women? What?
For what? If you had a flat ass, your ass flat. If it's plump, it's plump. Half the time, a lot of us was trying to evade getting that big behind because it spread out and go. You know how you had some of them aunts with them big butts? We called them duck butt. You was glad not to have too big of a butt. So it's not like something we like go out and I don't see us going to another country to get butchered to get this done. That's a lie. That's when I got upset with Black women. If you thinking that because we're not that daring, you still have to realize that even though our kids are different from the time that we came up from, you still raising your children. Each generation, yeah, does expound more, but you still have that lineage, that morality that still goes from generation to generation. Where there are certain things we just not going to tolerate. We're not going to condone. We haven't gone that far yet. I can't say what he lays up with, but we haven't gone that far yet where we just lost our everlasting mind. I'm watching mothers. I've had to deal with mothers with their children. Yes, they're a little different where they grow up together, but yet because she may be a young mom or whatever. But some of them, if they still have another parent in the household, they still have those values. Like when my daughter was going to school, she went to school with this girl. Her mother is my age. The grandmother is my age. I'm going to give you an example. The grandmother is my age.
Mm-hmm.
Her daughter is the same age as my son.
Mm-hmm.
She's a little bit older than my son. She had her daughter. She had her daughter at 13. But
Oh.
guess who was there raising both of them together? The girl's mom. She had it going on. Now, her daughter was 13 when she had her first grandbaby. She went and had another one too. She had another little girl a few years later. But guess what? That mother who's my age made sure that her daughter stayed in close contact on the aspect that you're not a mother. That ain't your sister. You messed around and had a daughter. She will call you mom.
There you go.
And she was not embarrassed about it. She said, because that's the way it is. I'm not going to have her confused.
Mm-hmm.
I
They
can't
call
say
it.
the
She's not
child's
gonna have her
name.
call it grandma or
Yes.
mom.
So when you look at them, they're 13 years apart. But I bet you this, her daughter, her granddaughter did not grow up with no degeneracy. No. So you see it. And it happened also when I was in school. A friend of mine, I can't say what her name is, she had her daughter. Her daughter would now be in her about 40. Because what's her name? I'll say M is now 54. So her daughter, she had her when she was 14. When you were in Catholic school, you couldn't go to school and be pregnant, so she had to step out and then come back in. I knew several teenage moms who was like that. Their kids primarily called them mom,
Right.
and they didn't condone it. And it was the aspect of what I love that word aspect. So that's my new word, aspect. It was the matter of fact that the parents were there in support of not that the child had a baby out of wedlock, but letting them be held accountable and helping them along the way. Because one of
Right.
the girls had a father in the home. She had a son. And we ran across the street and we were in Catholic school. And we was like, both of these girls were in Catholic school. And we was like, oh my God, he's so cute. And her mom was like, you think this is cute? And I'll never forget
Wow.
that conversation. She said, it's not cute. She
Right.
said, because you have your whole life ahead of you. And she did too. But now she has to change up and be something that shouldn't have to be. And that's a mother. When she gets off from school, she has to make sure she do her schoolwork. She has to take care of her son because this is her responsibility. She made
Wow.
no choice. They spoke with the parents. His father is very much involved. They got married when they got older. You know when they had the next one? When they
Mm-hmm.
got married.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can have, but they don't tell you about those stories. And basically, when he grew up, he was well rounded, but his parents were young, teenage parents. And from that point, that made me not have my son until I was 21. He was out of wedlock, but still, I was grown. Fuck that shit. So you got to see they didn't glamorize teenage pregnancy. So it's like a difference. And I'm trying, I see it, and I'm like, damn, that should, and everybody got used to it. I was like, she was like, no, I'm the grandmother, she's the mom. And she came up there and see
You
to
don't have
what her
anything on the
daughter was
bottom,
doing in
Dad?
school in the whole 9 yards. So it's like they always want to call out
I
our
just don't want.
degeneration, the whole
Okay.
9 yards, but
You
they're
on the
not
bottom
calling
there?
out their
I have
BS.
some stuff there. I'll move it.
I don't know. I think we were totally
Okay.
but thank you.
All right. No problem. Okay. So, sorry. I'm on the phone. Hopefully, it's not too loud. If I'm too loud, just let me know.
No problem. But I was like, you have to look at it in the aspect. I know a lot of teenage
Oh yeah,
moms.
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sure.
I know a lot of teenage moms, and if she was to tell her story, my daughter's grandmom was one. She was to come up, she'll let you know that's. But it wasn't no, oh, we partying together. But no, ain't no bullshit like that. What the hell? So I say it's a difference in the way that we raise in our morality, and that's what I saw as Black Americans. Did we have an uptick back then? I think we had a high rate of teenage pregnancy, but I think that was during the time period. If we think about it, most of our grandmothers were having children as teenagers, so we had to come out of one stage versus the other. I don't think it was an aspect of or a scenario where we were just trying to have babies out of wedlocks and be teenagers. If you look at it, when you look at it in the time period of our parents, you were considered an old maid if you didn't have a certain amount of children by the time you were 18. So now you're coming out of one scenario or one lineage or one aspect of life going into another. So now they're pushing that's too young to be having babies. But in their culture at that time, they were having babies at 13, 14, and 15. They were married because they had to have a lot of children. Because when you think of it, you're coming out of slavery, then they throw you out of slavery. Now you have to have a lot of children because you need them to farm the land and to help out. So it was like, because back then, what were Black Americans doing? Farming, agriculture. So they had started having children as soon as the girl was like 13, 14, and 15 years old. A lot of times, some of them were married.
Mm-hmm. That's
Some of
true.
the stuff was going on that was not appropriate, but a lot of times, let's be real, a lot of them was married at 13, 14, 15 years old. We was doing that primitive stuff because that's what we came out of. What did he do? He bucked the female and he bucked the male to the female, and they were not, he didn't wait till they was 18. The moment that she got her cycle, bucker, you had to have kids. Come on now, that's what slavery was. They was breeding you. So you took that mindset. Now it's like, okay, you need to be out of con. So things started to change as time went on. Now, well, we ain't farming like that no more. So there ain't no need for us to keep having no babies. And at an early age, all of a sudden they want to talk about teenage pregnancy. This was stuff that was going on not just in Black American culture, but it was also, I think, going on in white American culture too. Women were having babies at a very young age during that time period. So you was transitioning from one dimension and era of life to another. So do you hear about teenage pregnancy as much now? I don't see too many teenage moms in our community. Do I see them? Yeah, but not as much as I did when it was like the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I think
Mm-hmm.
we had a little bit more going on then. It was more freer. The music was starting to transition. You felt like you was grown. You know how you smelling yourself. Things started happening and your parents started slowing you down like, no, this is not a good thing. But you always had some guidance from someone as a family member in your life, whether it was your mother and your father, your aunt, your uncle, somebody, grandma, someone was there to say, no, this is not how it's going to be. And they was there to also help with these children. That's what I saw. And we still do that in my family, at least. Not everybody's family is the same, but I don't see too many children in our Black American communities family where they're just abandoned and we don't have nothing to do with them. Do we have dysfunctions? Absolutely. But again, we're Black and in America, our own country. It's not like it's all out of context. And I think with these other groups being here and them claiming to be Black, we getting the fallout residue of what they're doing. That's my point with that. Y'all wake.
Yeah, I'm away.
We should have 4 kids. Perfect.
I'm
Teenage moms,
awake.
mostly. Teenage moms are, I don't know. I guess that's what I'm hearing. I don't think that's going to be a thing, Somali. We're going to have children according to our economic status. It don't make sense to have children in a system that's economically poor. That does not benefit. I think we need to make better decisions on the time period because you can't just say, let's go ahead and just bust it open and have a bunch of kids. We have a lot of degeneracy going on now. We have to separate, are they our children? Are they the children of other melanated people? And economy. Economics mean a lot. I don't want to keep bringing up children in poverty. It doesn't work. Poverty breeds crime. These people have to be economically sound and together and on one accord than to just be busting kids. This is not a third world country, even though it's about to go into that. I don't think it's a good idea unless you're economically sound and you're both on the same page or in the same book about what y'all going to do to raise these kids. Because I think what's going to be coming up next is people are going to have to pay for their children's education. It's probably not going to be free. Seeing how they just utilize the school, put the kids out of school, or put migrants in the school. So if they're not considering the well-being of our children's education now, that means it's going to be solely on the parents, and you need to really, really be economically sound to have children. I don't think you should just be having kids to have kids just to have numbers. That's going to be counterproductive, because when you have children in poverty, poverty breeds crime. We're not doing that. It has to be a better way, and we have to be more how you say more secure as a community. That, say for instance, you want to have children, others in the community can help you to provide and help take care of that children. We may have to have a village mindset, not have a village cooch now where everybody, we just going to sleep with the FBA men and we just, no, we ain't doing none of that bullshit. He has to be in the same mindset, and it has to start with us calling each other names, calling us all out. You ain't shit, you ain't shit, y'all this, y'all that. Because how you gonna be together if y'all can't come on one accord and at least be in the same book or in the same story? But you calling me out, but you want me to lay with you and have kids? That shit don't sound right. It sounds like it's just stupid.
I agree. Yeah.
I take this to blame.
Mhm.
Yeah, but we have to make some better changes in this. Another thing I wanted to talk about was economics. The economy is tanking like a mother friggin'. I'm not sure if anybody else is noticing it. I'm pretty sure they are. And I'm just wondering how people are doing to get by, because it's like things are becoming harder and harder every day. Every day it's getting hard just to even buy a loaf of bread. Things are going up at an astronomical rate, or you're going into your supermarkets and you're not able to find things. I'm wondering if that's happening. So far for me, I can find stuff, but there are certain goods. Like I've been having the hardest time just getting a case of ginger ale. I mean, it may be simple, but ginger ale, I'm tired of drinking Schweppes. I like Canada Dry ginger ale. I want to know, is anybody else having those issues? And I'm saying that in the aspect on finding products that you're used to getting, and all of a sudden now you're not getting them, and you're seeing that stuff is not going up by 50 cents, but like $3 and $4 and $5. It's going up at a fast rate. And how are we doing to get by with that? Because just to buy your simple context for a meal, especially if you have children or even if you're by yourself, how are you doing those things? I know that's about to drop because people want to hear gossip, but how are people making it on that aspect? Because I've seen people all on Twitter, TikTok, bawling, white people bawling. One lady, she eating peanut butter and bread, and then she eats that during the week. And she's white, so her child can have food when she get her child, and she can barely pay her bills. Now I may not be a health guru, but I don't think you could eat peanut butter and bread every day. I think that's not a good healthy diet. I'm just saying you should have some variety. Hello?
Oh yeah, we're here.
Where,
Yeah, what do you think?
but at least we're taking a step forward in the right direction, I think. And then as the word spread, so on and so on, those who are like mind, would, start addressing the issue and
Mhm.
try to do something about it. I'm saying not everybody might not be on board, or I don't know, because people would say, well, that's in your world, but the real world is people going to do what they want to do, and
Mhm.
there's nothing you could do about it. But the point is not just that it's not nothing you could do about it. You want change,
Mhm.
for your community.
Mhm.
So I think we need to really put out there like the elders are here, and we love our community, and we don't want to see our community fall, or tired of seeing destructions and bad outcomes.
Okay. So
No,
that
they need to know that and hear that.
so we basically gonna speak on the aspect of no more inclusion. It has to be a limit on that. We can't do that anymore. Identity theft, where people are basically trying to say they're us and they're not. And then I was talking about the
Hmm.
economy, which y'all probably fell asleep on. What are people doing? Because I'm getting all of these videos. I don't know if anybody else watches, where a lot of people are having hard times finding goods that they need just to run their normal household. And as anyone experienced that, like I just said, it's hard for me just to get a case of ginger ale, and when I did get some, it's like, I don't know, no 12 pack of ginger ale to be no $12. I remember it being $6 and $7, but now it's $12.
No,
People experiencing astronomical price hikes like that. Can anybody else comment in the comments? And how are you getting along just to buy your everyday goods and keep your everyday bills? You can see the economics is going crazy. And like I was also saying about politics, our aspect on what our mindset on what we're voting for. I mean, a lot of people are saying they're just strictly voting Trump, but anything can change between now and then. What will be the other choice if Trump is not one of the running candidates per se? What is our strategy as Black women in reference to that? And what are our true needs as Black American women who descend from chattel slavery? Because everybody's issues are talked about, but you know that with Black men, it's mass incarceration. What is our primary saying for what we want addressed as Black American women? Because with men it's mass incarceration, but I don't hear what is it for Black women. I mean, I know for other groups of women as a collective, they're talking about the aspect of about the concept or the action of abortion, and then they pin it on us. But I don't think that's Black American women's number one concern about abortion. What is our number one concern as Black American women? Because they pinned on us abortion and we need it in the community because poor Black women can't do this, that. And I don't see that as a collective as something we talk about as Black women about abortion. That's a lie. I don't see it. I'm not saying black women don't get abortions, but I don't think that's our number one concern. Is that? What do y'all think?
Yeah, I don't think that's our number one concern. I really don't. That doesn't even make sense.
Economics is our number one concern.
That's what
Bottom
I'm
line.
thinking. That's what I think it is. That you
And
hit the
again,
hammer on there.
it's a what, Trey?
Economics. Economics.
Economics.
Hmm.
I think black women are more concerned about how we can make more money and make more businesses exclusively for us. I think black women, being the trendsetters and entrepreneurs that we are, we would like stuff solely for us. It's not all melanated women, us solely, because black women always are trying to find new and innovative ways to make more money. Things that are
On our land.
on
Here's the
our land and
thing.
solely for us. Solely for us. Black women would like land,
Mhm.
business. I think I hear more black women talking about that. Better opportunities on where we can expand and possibly retire. Because if you're the one that's solely ahead of your household, which a lot of times that is, you're looking on how to leave something for your children. So I don't see abortion as being the key factor what we're talking about as a collective of women. What do y'all think? Go ahead. I'm done. I'm go ahead. I'm sorry.
Is Shay going to speak?
No, go ahead. You can speak. Shay probably going in and out. Go ahead, Kay.
No, I'm here. I'm listening and I'm thinking.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
I
Well, go ahead.
want to
Go
Shay
ahead,
have
Kay.
to
You
say.
speak. What do you think? And put down in the chat, what do y'all think? What is a concern that you think is a primary concern for black women? Because we sit here and we have, what is our voice? Because we've been the voice for everybody else. What do we want? I
That's
don't
right.
care
It's
if
time for us to be the voice for us
ourselves. What do you want?
selfishly.
Yeah, what do we want? Because I don't hear what we want. We don't put it out there. It's what everybody else want them. They use us as bodies and we join in line. But what do we really concern ourselves with as Black American women? Besides the issues of what we do as a collective, as the community, what do we want solely for ourselves? Because all of these groups of women have stuff that they solely want for themselves, but I don't hear it. Maybe I'm not listening. I don't hear what we want solely for ourselves as Black American women, because we're used to being the muse for our community as well
That's
as for
right.
everybody else. What do we want?
Did you see in the comment section, Somali made a good statement. He said something about most of teenage pregnancies are really Hispanic women. That's very true because that is a part of their culture. They tend to marry early.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because once they have the quinceañera, that's when they kind of consider their daughters to be young women when they turn 15. And after they have the quinceañera, I hear like they'll get pregnant or they get married. That's very common. But
I
that is.
hear what he's saying. He's saying, I just don't want you guys to be outnumbered by it. Okay, I get that. But here's the thing. Even if they do have children, them children are not going to be productive. And a lot of times when you breed children into poverty, what do? If you're not productive, then you breed what? Poverty breeds what? Crime. So you're going to have more children laid out on the streets. So that's still not having children that's going to make it to a profitable and thriving future.
Very sad.
So I want black people to do something different. So when we do have children, quality is better than quantity. Quality surpasses quantity. Quality surpasses quantity. We want our children born into quality environments, because quality means more at this present moment than quantity, because that quantity can easily be deleted in one day. You can get them tearing each other out in weekends. I mean, they don't have to live. It can get so bad they don't live past the point or make it past 12, because they arming them up like that. So I want quality versus quantity. I get it. We do need numbers, but we need quality, because I don't see that you can have that many, but just in a matter of time, it can be just shut down. Because you can clearly see that quantity don't mean too much of nothing when you have a community that is you-ish and they're a small community and they still running the world. Just saying. And I think we have a big number. That's why they flooding them in here. If we weren't that big, why they flooding them in here
There you
to
go.
circumvent our voice? I think we have more than enough, and we can still continue to have. But I think they need to be quality versus quantity.
I agree.
We do need more black families, but quality black families, solid black families, And then if you have people who are single moms, bringing her children up in solid neighborhoods where it's safe and the environment is safe where these children can not just survive but thrive, and that's going to be hard to do if you're not economically sound and you need two people to do that. I wouldn't be suggesting no more single births. I mean, it's whatever's happened has happened, but we need to lessen a lot of that single motherhood stuff. And if she is a single mom, give her the resources that she needs so that she can provide for her and her child or her children. And then as the economy starts to go down, if you pay attention with each and every um scenario where we went and we dipped in the economy, I want to know if y'all will look into it. How many of us as black women actually was giving birth to babies as the economy got worse? I think our birthing rate went down. What do y'all think? We having kids, but I don't think in the numbers like we did. We went from 10 to 20 to 2 to 4.
That's a big drop.
Mm-hmm. Because economic wise, it's hard. I used to work together more. I want us to work together more, support each other. Yeah, support each other's businesses. How do we find ways to do that? Work together more and support each other's businesses. Support one another. Find a way in which we can barter and make that change amongst us. I think we can do that as black women because we are not tribal. In their way, tribal. We're not as divisive. I would say we do need to be tribal, but not in a primitive way. But we're not as divisive, but we need to divide and delineate ourselves. How we can do stuff exclusively for us without being guilted, like we have to be involved with
Right.
everybody else. That shit is
That's
over.
right. That's right. Yep. And I had that what do I call that experience? I have been through that too.
Hmm. They like to say, "Well, we just
Without
a we
mhm.
ain't coming together no more." But go ahead. I'm sorry, Kay. Sure.
Yeah, so the to spread the word that it's about us for us. Period.
Only us. Only us. And how will we do that? And how would we be able to stand on our square, like I think Megan was saying it, where we are not guilty about feeling guilty? You can't guilt trip us. Oh, well, we need to. That's mean that no, no, no.
No.
We had enough of that bullshit. Get the fuck out of here. You can come together. If they have a whole country that they come from, a whole identity, a whole land. We have to not let them guilt trip us with the divisive and we this and we that, and call out the aspect when they showing these other women and want to say they're us. Make that a clear conscious effort. And I mean, I don't care. We got to be petty. That ain't me. Wrong chick. This is what we stand for. Or we can keep certain things to ourselves exclusively and on how we move, because we might have to move like ninjas on certain things.
Exactly.
We may have to be selective on what is, because everybody's watching, because they have to have something to copy, because everybody has to, but and you can't help that aspect, but there should be an aspect where we move in ninja move. Well, they don't know what the hell we doing. So it can kind of work out two ways for us with the copycatting. We can use it in one cover for one thing, and in another aspect to call it out when it's when we know that it's something that's not us. I mean, but what do we want? Just as mere fact, we have to think. Because I'm like, what are our issues and what do we fight for as black women for us solely? And I don't think we do. We don't have an issue where we fight for something solely just for ourselves. If you're paying attention, all of these other groups of women can tell you, oh, I want this, I want that, because they come from a country of degeneracy where they have to ask for these things, which are basic things. But we don't ask for that for ourselves. We're always fighting in parlay with someone else, parallel to someone else for someone else's needs. So I think that black American women, this is the spot. What the hell do we want?
We have to stay connected, keep our communications and our contacts.
Mm-hmm.
That's important. And keep having a conversation, not just live. Like for instance, like I was part of a group, which
Mm-hmm.
they always do all the time, use the civil rights, Martin Luther King,
Mm-hmm.
try to download all my contacts
Mm-hmm.
so they could contact others to build their group up. But the bottom mission was was for anybody but black.
Mm-hmm.
American.
Mm-hmm.
And they was getting people on board for this mission and agenda who were
Mm-hmm.
Black Americans. And they was like, so yeah, we want to do the. I bet you if we did, if we said, yeah, uh, we want to, matter of fact, yo, we got to support this immigration movement.
Mm-hmm.
Say like if we was a shadow group and we said we want to support this immigration movement. Yeah, let's come up with this organization. Contact all the people, all Americans, and see who you have up there, mostly Black Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm down. I could do this. I work here. And see how many will pop up for that cause.
Mm-hmm.
Because I see it all the time. So let's be real about this damn thing. This is something for you, by you, because you need it. I
Yeah,
don't
but
know
what
how
do we want?
many millionaires or how many businesses we have or how many businesses we got to support. We need to be crying out there just like everybody damn else and put away the pride too.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's another issue. You
Mm-hmm.
see, they had no problem saying that they were uh Martin Luther King's civil rights
Mm-hmm. Using
suffering
using
suffrage movement, and they just got here and their family just got here, or everybody's connected. They have no problem with that. So we should have no problem getting what we need for ourselves because
but
we
what do
really
we
do
want?
need now.
We do. I think that needs to
We
be a question. So, like you were saying, they have no problem with using our ancestors, using our civil rights people to uplift and pull up their stuff. We need to do the same and knock them off that pedestal, knock them out of that box completely, and use our own people to thwart our efforts. That's number one. And number two, I think the main question over the weekend, and it'll be not now, as Black women, think about what do we want as a collective and what do we need as a collective of Black American women that we can work towards, because I don't think we ever
we
thought about
need to be on our damn motherfucking square like they are. When they get up on those calls
it. Hmm.
every couple of days, they might do a call twice a week.
Hmm.
When they
What do
get
you
up on them
call? Okay.
fundraisers, they
Hmm.
always use us though, but they them use be in the background. I'm trying to tell you.
Right.
When they get up on those fundraisers, that's the way we need to be. We need them colleges, we need them college students. Come on, that's what it's really about. And I'm tired of seeing the same old shit. And we get left by the roadside, like the boss just left us, standing there. And that's what it is. And that's a very bad thing. And I'm tired of seeing it. And then
So
guess what? When I've been on those spaces recently, I would go purposely on and say, look, y'all need help. But what about the Black Americans? Can y'all help? Can y'all immigrants help us in our movement? They'll look at you like you crazy, stupid. They don't
really,
understand English. Yes, even if they understood English. Yep.
you be playing with them.
Yep.
I will listen, ghost listen to their spots, and I will hear them using our talking points. I did hear that, but it's like with us as Black American women, we tend to do what we need to do for our community as a collective. But I
They have
also
been
feel,
I have been asked personally
hmm
on certain spaces. And can you ride with us in this journey? And then now I'll be like, no, can you ride with us on my journey?
hmm
And I'm straight up. They are straight up serious. I don't know if you realize how serious and hungry and thirsty they are.
yeah, they are. BSI was saying that it's bad, and we're just sitting like,
Yeah, we're sitting ducks.
yeah, we're sitting ducks. I don't want to say it like that. We sitting ducks. We just sitting around going about our everyday lives like things haven't. I know we have felt it. A lot of us have felt the change. There's no way you can't say with the way the economy is going now you haven't felt the change. We have, but I think we're treating it like it's business as usual, and it's not. That's why I think our mind is at. This is not no longer business as usual. The atmosphere and the environment, the energy has totally changed. We cannot walk around no more as Black Americans like this is business as usual. Yes, hard times, hardships will maintain. No, not this time. This is different, and I think we need to get out of that mindset. This round is totally, this is something else, and we need to really, as Black women, be focused, because a lot of us tend to be single or married or whatever the case may be. But when our
Or you
mindset is
got
on one
yours,
accord,
I
yeah,
got mine, you got yours to get.
yeah, we can't do
That
that
shit
no
is
more.
out the window.
That shit is out the window. I think we do follow our men, especially if he's a good. Well, no, because some of us will follow the idiots too. I think we need more sound-minded Black women politically, as well as how we gonna run our families. Not all of us are single moms. A lot of us are married. Some of us are single. Some of us don't have children at all. But we can't keep walking around like sitting ducks, like business as usual, because America, as we have known it, has America as we know it has changed, and it's changing more and more every day, and it's happening at a rapid pace. We have to re-agenda, and I do agree with BSIA. We cannot just follow um piss poor Black male leadership no more. How you do in your personal home with you and your mate, whether he's a Black man or whatever, that's different. Of course, you and your husband are on one accord. You and him are doing what you have to do to make it as a family. But following the leadership that we have now, these motherfuckers, they done with the Pan Africanism, the Hebrew Israelite, the whole
Right.
just all kind of stupid shit. It's off that we can't go with that as Black women. That has to and that's why I said the next thing will be a phase of look in your mind personally, and let's just do a survey and put it out. What do Black American women who descend from United States chattel slave, what do we want? What is the number one thing on our agenda as something that we want as Black women for ourselves? Yes, there's stuff that we want as a group, reparations, better economics. But what do we want as Black women? Because Black men have their list. They want to end mass incarceration. I bet you it wouldn't take them no time to figure out what they wanted. But it's like Black women are used to muling for the community. Oh well, whatever he want. What do we want? What do we need? I had brought up that it's a hard aspect for a hard situation for Black women. They're talking about give birth, but that's a very dangerous place for Black women when it comes to going to the hospital to have a baby. It's dangerous for a lot of us as Black women, and I don't think we talk about that enough. If we have women who are at that childbearing state, it's not a good thing to go in the hospital, because look
Okay,
at Serena
that's right.
with all that money. They almost deleted her ass, and she had money.
Here's the thing. No, I'm in the spaces because I was in the birthing business and I still will be in the birthing business. We're in those conversations are being had, but it's being had once again amongst everybody else.
But
And
not
everybody else is bringing that to the table.
right. Why don't Black American women do that? I'm looking at our space now. Refer this channel. Make sure y'all like and subscribe and pass on. Like and subscribe, and make sure you share. Subscribe, and share. Make sure you show up. We may not show up at the same time, but like, subscribe, share, and make sure you listen to it, and come up with ideas. Come up with ideas and put it in there on things that we need to do. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Or even if you don't like it, hit it down. Whatever. Like, unlike, share, whatever. But subscribe. But we need to figure out what do we want to do. I know y'all. A lot of them want us to give birth. You can't do birth without a safe environment. We need more. I would say, in order to do that, we need more doctors. We need more
Of
nurses.
course. We need more doctors. We need people who are still see back black in the day.
Hmm.
They were willing to each one teach one.
Yeah.
I don't know, that went out the window somewhere along the line.
And remember, they said we can't pay for a politician, which we can't.
Yep.
But
Well,
what
let
can
me
we
tell
pay
you
for?
your
We can
views
pay for something
on the
else.
number one lobbyist. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How come when I be on the line of the lobbyist line, I be like the only black American woman?
That's true.
I always feel out of place. And here come other folks and the Chinese.
Hmm.
They come with their network. We got all these immigrants coming with their network like this is their country. So is it?
I don't know because it looked like they was giving it over. I don't know. I'm gonna put a question mark by that. And if it is, they ain't gonna do nothing with it because look at where they came from. It's gonna be a trash heap like where they came from. I will say for an idea, like I said, I watched Flower Tower. This is a suggestion. She is Kay know of her. You probably seen her. Kay, she's going to be a doctor. We have a few coins. Load her the hell up so it can help her with her expenses. We need more Flower Towers because she
Yeah,
is
she
a
needs to be the poster child.
yeah, she is. So whenever we get those extra coins, load her up. As Black American women, load her up with some money to pay them bills to get her ass through school so she can be the doctor that we need. That's one. And if we have more
Now
like
here's
her,
the
load her
thing.
up.
My question with that. Speaking with Flower Tower and her trying to become, oh, she will become a Black American doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when Maggie was talking about the HBCUs, and I'm like baffled because she shouldn't have a problem because the resources should already be there. That's the fuck where I'm confused and
Well, it
angry
ain't it
about.
because we gave our they gave our identity away. Remember, BSI said that we gave our identity away. We told them they were black. The universities, which are PWIs and HBCUs, pushed us the fuck out and put them in, and they're the new black. We did it. We did it. And then we'll get mad and say, we don't have
And
no
so
space.
these
Keep calling them black
conversations,
and calling us African. That's what I'm saying. We have to stop
hmm
calling them black. And so you keep doing it, but then it's like an oxymoron. You keep calling them black. They ashamed of their blackness and they don't want to be black. And the reason I'm saying this, I see this on a lot of black stations and we complain about it. And we're just finding out too. I get it. I get it. We thought of them as a different black. I was there too. And it took us a minute to learn it when we was under it was all of us like dissecting it with Ty, telling us this is not a color thing, this is an ethnic thing, this is a caste system, and we was breaking it down. We were there. So now we have to pass it on to others, and I understand they may not be there. Some people may not even know what the fuck we talking about, what the heck we're talking about. But it has to be an aspect that you can't call somebody something just because they look like something. They have to understand our history and our lineage, and that black is just not a color; it's an ethnic group, and it's also a caste system. I think that's what Yvette said. It is a caste system. Now, is our cast at the bottom? No, it's actually second to white because it was black and white. And everybody else is in between, behind, or whatever. And it will always be a nation with black and white because no matter what these immigrants do or what goes on, everything always foreshadows back to black because black always repels white and vice versa. It's like that yin yang sign. It will not be, all these other groups are looking to fit in, but they're actually used as a tool to fight against us because we're the only ones who can fight against white supremacy. They're a part of it. They're used as actual tools. So again, once they get done with them and they can't do what they need to do, that's why a lot of quote unquote melanated people from the Caribbeans and Africans are so afraid. And instead of coming with humbleness and coming with gratefulness, no, they come at us with vitriol because they're already plumbed in. They're already being used, and we know what happens when white supremacy gets done with their tools. They toss it. They're going to toss it. But in the interim, whether it's them or any other group they use against us, and they will, we need to figure out and let it be known: black is not a color. Stop that color thing. Because if black was about a color, we wouldn't have white passing, and that person would still be black. It's a whole aspect where people want to go on the scientifics. No, we're not going with scientifics. We're going with the lineage, who we are, how it was in our culture, and it's not by sight. You can't say that that African is more black than the white passing when that came from your lineage. We're not related to these Africans, and a lot of them are delusional in their mind, thinking we're related to these people from the continent, and we're not. This is why we're having this issue. And then they'll have this complaint, we're not in the colleges, we're not here. Because you keep calling these people because of what they look like. And God knows many of them don't look like us. We're calling them black. And their culture is just totally different. After the culture shock of what Megan has been showing and what we have learned, I mean, and some of that shit Megan showed, that shit was disturbing to my spirit, but I thank God for her. That stuff muffed me up. Because it's like, damn, we really don't have nothing in common. That's why Frederick Douglass then was saying we're not African. And then when he says stuff like you're more white in your actions and your way of thinking and how we live, it is true. We're very European. We've never lived like that. And we want to take on an aspect of something or take on a mindset of something. We trying to go backwards and they trying to go forwards. It's like this buck shit going on. We trying to go down to the sand ditch and shit in the ditch, and they trying to come and shit on the toilet and live in the house. I'm not trying to live like that. I'm not trying to live like that. And to sit here and say, oh, well, no, it's not. It's not about color. We know white passing because we understood what white passing meant. It meant we understand that you want a better life. And even though you came out black coochie, you don't want to live like no downtrodden person. So you going on to live your life better. We understood, and it was hurtful for them and us. We know what imitation of life means. And it don't got nothing to do with no skin tone. It got something to do with, well, in some sense to do, they were white passing, but they were actually black because they came from a black woman. And to say that African is more a part of our community than that woman who gave birth to that. And there are many black women who still have children. Not a whole lot more of us with black men, but some of our children still come out with lighter phenotypes. So it ain't nothing new that if you did lay up with a man who was of no color and your child comes out white, we've seen it happen before. That's commonplace in our culture, and that person is still black. But that came from a black woman and a white man, not the other way around. But that's why we keep getting this. Oh, we got some black Chinese. Oh, we got some black. What the hell? And we're losing ourselves by piling up all of these other groups. That's why I said, what
We
do we
sure
want and what do we
are.
need? We losing ourselves. And he doing it. And we going along with him like dumbasses. And I don't care if they be like, Trina, hard on the black man. No, because if we don't take control of the reins, I don't know what's going to happen. But I will say, I'm not trying to have these women be me. They're not
Girl,
me.
have you seen the videos and the advertisements? Even like, first of all, we as Black Americans, we are creators and originators. We have our own style, the way we look, the way we dress, the way we talk, our actions, the way we walk, everything. Hand
Facts.
gestures. Now I'm seeing they're blending in other people with our own gestures,
Mm-hmm.
our own street gestures, our own
Mm-hmm.
family gestures, our own conversation. You know how we talk.
Mm-hmm.
We have a
They can't
communication
go.
where we have
They
our
can't
own
go but so
language.
deep, but they trying. They trying. They can't get but so deep because we still have that family structure. A lot of us, even though they claim we
Like
don't. We
I
do.
could be listening to the TV and I hear a commercial and I see a gesture which was Black
Mm-hmm.
American with white boys doing it and Asians
Yep.
doing it. Like what?
You
And
know
it's
something
so
when they
off
keep
kilt
their hair.
and it's off kilted.
Yes, it don't match,
It don't match.
but nonetheless, they're doing it with pride every day. I'm proud of it. Like, oh, they just discovered something new or they created something, and it's us. It's like we got the clones of the world around. I knew I lost it when I saw them putting texturize and stuff to texture their hair and make it kinky. I'm like, what the hell is this? Hmm. What's that about? Because that same Asian don't necessarily can't bring that quote unquote melanated woman from another country to his. But when I look at it, no, he's not dressing like an African. He's dressing like a Black American man. Those tennis shoes, those jeans, the sagging, that hair braided. That's a Black American.
Mm-hmm.
That's all Black American. Yeah, Africans and Caribbean, like they dressing, no, they dressing like me. I done seen what that Asian man did, and even with her coming up there, I felt bad because she was melanated. He was very adamant. I can only imagine what he would do if his son, because he was mad. His wife was just like basically trying to plead, like, we ain't seen our son, just chill out. You know, you know how mothers do, that mother language that I may not like what's going on, but in the same token, she still wants to see her child.
Mm-hmm.
The male is like, I ain't having it. The neighbors, I mean, he was going off. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. So I can relate to why they do it, but that's not going to help you perpetuate me. Regardless, her dressing like me, he knew damn well she wasn't. He wasn't having it. I'm not sure if it would be a reaction that was different if it was a Black American girl. That's something to see. But I don't think we're going to go marry no Chinese dude. Happening with us. You will not see that. They gonna be coming over here to or whatever. I don't think that's what we do. We're two different. I had nothing against them. Mm-mm. I wouldn't even been sitting there trying to press my way in. I'd have been on. Mm-mm. First of all, you gonna meet me on my turf. Meet my family. We gonna go from there. We gonna be on a landmark where I feel safe. I'm not going all the way to another country to be rejected. That's not happening. That's not how we move, and we ain't that desperate. Just saying. Kay, are you still awake? There
Yeah,
is.
I'm still here. Can you hear
I'm
me?
still here. I'm listening to you. I'm wide awake. And so I'm thinking of ways. I said I got to get, not just think, just put it back into action. To me, it's like going back to the past, because
Mhm,
back in the past, our ancestors were are really putting shit into action. They
mhm.
talked a little bit and they said, "This is what we're going to do next week." Next day or the next week, they put it in motion.
And what was the thing that was different? I think BSIA and everybody was saying we was hungry because we were living lives in this country that was very, very toxic. It was very, very, very toxic. It's toxic now, but it wasn't as toxic as they were having then. And they were together more so than we are now. We kind of
They
like spread
sure
out.
were.
They
So,
knew.
which makes me think of when you talk about how we being blotted out,
Hmm.
the nature of carrying two uh lineage can be against us our demise too.
What do you mean? Having a child by someone outside of our ethnic group?
That's right.
I think we need to have as many children as we can within our ethnic group, but I am a realist. Not everybody's going to follow that concept, and we're not going to be able to. I'm not shunning them. I'm going to be
No,
able to
I'm
connect with
just having a discussion and
them. Right.
bringing out the awareness
I
of
think
what
that
it
we need
really
more
is.
black. I think we do need more black women to have children by black men, but you can't make black men be with a black woman. That takes a two-pronged decision. And again, when you have the negative aspect of you calling me out and I'm this and I'm that and vice versa, um, no. And black men, to me, I feel like they tend to be slick and try to still pin it on women or what we both need to do, but see what women need to. It always still falls on the woman. And a lot of women are tired of that, especially black women. I
Yeah,
know who,
but the men have to be accountable, point blank.
yeah, we do. We all
Men are
have to.
supposed to be the rulers, and they want to be the rulers, and they talk about they the rulers, and they King Kong. Well,
Mhm.
then handle your business.
Mm.
Mm.
Mhm.
I
Handle
was.
your business.
That's a fact. Handle your business. But in the same token, I say work with the families that we do have that are very, very culturally sound and go from there. And those who want to be together will be together, but make sure you uphold who you are as a Black American, whether you're male or female. I'm not gonna push that aspect that, oh well, you have to be, and I'm not pushing, well, we FBA. We don't even know if we FBA ADOS. I just call them all freedmen, all of this stuff. One thing we do know, we are Black Americans, and we was all enslaved in this mother frigate. We got about 50 names on there that we calling ourselves. We are the chosen ones, and that may be true too. But we have so many names: Black Seminole, Black Indian, Black this. But I do know a lot of us didn't want to be called no dang African. That is a fact. That we can get rid of that. And now that we're finding out from what Charlie was saying, you got those who were born here first and second gen, and now I want to be, no, you're not us. Going back over there, it's up to your parent to have basically elevated your lineage from that. We're not dealing with them. Absolutely not. Pass the word. That's on them. That's on their parents that they didn't figure out what they were, or take them back to their homeland to keep in touch with their heritage and lineage. That don't got, you will not be considered no Black American just because you was born here. Damn that. If you don't have a Black American mama or daddy, you are not a part of our lineage group. Absolutely not. And I'll take it a step further. You ain't no Black woman if you ain't come out no Black cooch. I'm sorry. That's not a Black woman.
Because let me tell you, I've been around other melanated cultures,
Mhm.
and they gatekeep their cultures
They do.
with no problem. And I've been around them groups, whether they're churches, whatever, in a community, and they be like, "Oh, she's Black American." Oh, they shun you. Okay, with no problem.
I've never been around that. I would have to say, being that y'all in New York, they was
I
shady shit,
have.
y'all. That, yeah, because New York and California, they shady shit at y'all. We don't. They was actually trying to get in our groups here. It wasn't us trying to be a part of them at all. They were trying to be a part of us. We made a separate the line of division. Yes, we do have a lot of foreigners here, but it was never, oh, we all one shit. I just thought they were a different type of Black, but not all we the same Black. So I never experienced that. I never experienced no shady bitches like that. Do we have shady Black women in our community? Yes, but what I've primarily experienced is, I'm sorry, I grew up with a sisterhood of Black women and girls. That's what I grew up with. I didn't grow up with none of these cosplaying motherfuckers, beasts, who are acting like us but are not us. I grew up with actual girlfriends, cousins, and we still are friends today. That's what I grew up with. So that's why I don't have too much of an issue with trust with women. I know shady women and shit starters. We have that. But as saying, as a true Black woman, I have girlfriends who are Black American, and we're not that deep. Now, growing up in New York, in Chicago, I don't think y'all really got a true aspect of sisterhood because y'all had them bitches there. They're tribal, they're divisive. So I can't say that that is a good concrete surmise because we were taught when we grew up in a household. Most of us grew up together, so you knew to hang with your cousins. You knew to hang with the kids in the
Right.
neighborhood who were Black. So I'm not shitting on you, Shay, but New Yorkers don't have a good example of what it is to have true sisterhood and brotherhood. They mishmash up and with y'all. Them motherfuckers is crazy. So y'all have more
Now
of
we did
a
have our cousins
backstabbing
now,
attribute.
because I had a
Yeah,
whole hell of a lot of cousins in New York, and I still got cousins in New York.
yeah, but
But
y'all still grew
somehow,
up around that bullshit with that
yeah, there was a
backstabbing
divide.
shit.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't grow up with that. You don't grow up with that in the South. You don't grow up with that. We kept in our roots. That's why I could never understand when they would bring the New York kids home. They beat the shit out of y'all because y'all had that same nasty disposition like them.
Mm.
Y'all had an aspect where y'all were not real trusting. Is it to say Black women can't be a certain way? Yes, but not like that. We were taught to stick together. You know, sisters coming
Right.
together,
That's
one
right.
go down, they all go down. Y'all was not raised with that. They're raised with that
Hold
trifling
up. I was
attribute.
raised. Here's the thing. No, no, no. I was definitely raised with that. But I
But
used what I was
as New
raised with.
Yorkers as a collective, no, no. As a collective, New Yorkers as a collective, no, y'all were not. The fight that we had and the way y'all gave up, they gave up our culture to all of them. No, I'm not talking about you personally, but as a collective, hell no. New York, y'all circumvented a lot. And I was really shocked that South Carolina and Atlanta, they did the same thing. I don't know what's up with that. I think it's an aspect like when you get in the bedroom, I don't know, with flip flop. Look, personally, when I was procreating my son, that was a Jamaican. I'm Black American. You a different type of black. You ain't me, but I did not consider us the same. Not at all. But in New York, y'all won, and I hear y'all say it. In Chicago, I don't even think they know who's who. So that's why everybody kind of like got a sway when it comes to New York, Cali, and Chicago. Y'all like swayed right on in there. And it's like you have to ask Chicagoans, oh, I didn't know he was that. What the fuck? No, we didn't get that close. And most Black Americans, as a collective, we don't sleep up in nobody's house.
That's right.
When people say, "Oh, when you spent the night at your friend's house," who you had to be really close to spend the night, and it usually was at relatives. And if you did spend the night, they had to really know your mama and your family. And I mean, they grew up together, you know, and they grew up together so close that they were not just considered a friend, they were considered that family, you know, my play on, my play
Right.
on.
That's right.
You wasn't staying up in nobody's shit. Play dates, yeah. But family and even certain family was questionable. They wasn't all up in our house. And we damn sure wasn't laying all up in theirs. So where did they get that they have this camaraderie with us like that? Outside of we had outside interests where we like the same music and the same dress. We weren't sitting up in their house eating like that. You may went for a meal or whatever, but most Black American families, I don't know if they different. We ain't stayed up in nobody's house. Hell no. When the sun was going down or the street lights, bring your ass home. So where do you get this camaraderie that you have this aspect, you have this need to be us? Because you're not in our house. And your parents will let you know, yeah, you can have friends over, and you had special occasions where we had sleepovers, but they wasn't trying to have nobody kids all up in their house like that, and you damn sure wasn't going there because your parents had that weary attribute, like I don't know, because I don't know if they got it, who they got it, but nobody was trying to let it jump off like that. It was different. So when they asked that question, that's one that threw them out the box right there. When you spend a night, we don't spend a night at nobody's house. Over when you spend a night at your Black friend's house versus your white friend. That's when we was like, hold up. We don't spend a night at no white friend's house. That is, you're not a Black American. We don't do that. They giving themselves up all the time. But we have basically not been paying attention. Yes, we dropped the ball, but we're gonna have to make some harsh decisions, some strong decisions, and stick by it. It has to be a strong line of exclusion, and it has to start with Black women. We are too accepting, and we are also the ones with the self-esteem where if the man says something, I'm gonna say it. Black women with our retarded ass will follow him and be like, oh, okay, no, stop accepting his women, stop accepting kids that he make with these women, and we don't be out there as a strong collective having these kids. That shit is over. You accept them on an individual level because it's your grandchild or whatever, but how can they go up in a community that's Hispanic and the Hispanics like, no, he's a Blacker, because they not accepting it, but they bring it over here, it's gonna be like you here, she Black. Hell no. She come out a whole Hispanic, a whole white woman, a whole Asian woman. It's time to throw that nut bucket back over on the other side. That's between him and her, and then it's being problems. Nobody don't want to say that, oh, Trina, man hate. No, that's the first line of identity. If it's not accepted by the heifer that you had it with, it ain't coming over here. It ain't ours. That's between you and her. That's an adult relationship. Because if you wanted to have a quote unquote Caucasoid child, you should have had it by a black woman. Because guess what? When it's had by another group, guess what that white man say it is? Black. Oh yeah, your dad white, but your mama black. So you're black. The Asian. Oh yeah, well I wanted it by black. Why we gotta accept his? So that's the first line of exclusive. No, that ain't ours. Y'all need to figure that out over there. Is it a part of our reparations packet, a part of our community? Is that yes? But we gonna have to stop right there because a lot of them, it's no way we should have a Mariah Carey being no black woman. She ain't even got a black. Her mom white and her dad a whole nother ethnic group, and she over on this side. How the fuck?
That's a good point. Cause see, where we grew up thinking that she was us.
Yeah, but she ain't even none of that. Not at all. Start there because that's where other women do it. And those biracials will tell you, oh no, we can't go over there and claim we white. Oh well, too bad your mama shouldn't have had you by a black man. If she didn't want that, then she shouldn't have laid with him. I don't know, but we not accepting it as a black woman, especially it come out a whole white woman. No, and then they want to shame you. Well, it has to be black. No, 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 no. It comes out of a white woman, by ethnic white, by ethnic Hispanic, by ethnic Asian, whatever the case may be. Because I raised mine. They dump everything over here. And we don't even know these chicks. All because he probably trying to quote unquote beige himself out. And them same kids coming at him with a vitriol. Take your kids and your woman that you running down the street from like a runaway slave and you go to the other side. That's the first point of command. Don't be over here trying to control our underwear. You control your stuff over there. We do stand up on what we need to stand up on as a group, but anything that you have outside of me ain't no black woman. We not dealing with that. That's where we start right there. And then we also go even further on calling nonsense out. Stop calling these other groups that are melanated black. Because
That's right.
when he gets upset, pay attention with them bi-ethnic children that he make. If it's a boy, he really hard on the boys. You not a real black man. You got daddy issues. Well, how come it ain't no black man, but she a black woman? No, take you and your kids and go back over there. Pay attention. That happens a lot. A lot of those bi-ethnic ones, they get upset because black men will let them know they not black. All the time. But all of a sudden, oh no, you jealous. No, she didn't come from me. Ain't no jealousy. No other group does that. So that's where we can start right there and stop calling everything that's melanated black and stop accepting everything that he has by another woman as being a black woman. No. It's so like I said, Mariah Carey, a whole black woman, ain't even got she got a white mother and the father is not even our ethnic group. How the hell? I just found out Jada Pinkett wasn't even our ethnic group. She a whole Jamaican and a Bayesian.
What?
Yes. I couldn't figure out why her backing when her grandmother taught her how to do things to pleasure oneself. That's not something that usually Black American grandmothers do with their granddaughters.
Hell no.
So it just kind
No,
of
we
threw me
don't.
for a loop. But see, again, even I was thrown off by looking at her. I'm thinking, oh, she black because they brought her here. She black. See how he bringing all of this stuff and we accept it?
And we need to discuss it and spread the word.
That's your woman. And oh, she black. What about, so now I'm looking like Tia and Tamara. They ain't black.
What?
No, their mother's Caribbean. They're not ours. A lot of stuff is accepted because of skin tone and we don't check the ethnic. They're not ours. It's time to look at all of that. We can't call everything that's melanated black. That shit has to stop. It has to be lineage. And yes, when he has a child on the outside, is it a part of our ethnic group? Yes, but it ain't no black woman when you having it by a white woman. Hell no, it's not. He or she is not. By ethnic white, because it's by a white mother. By ethnic Hispanic. By ethnic Asian. Don't throw that over here. I wouldn't be surprised, Jeannie Mai. I don't even know what he is. We'll be getting her. She black. No, the hell she's not.
No, she is not black. Mm-mm.
This is what happens too. We accept all of their stuff that they rodding in, and then they make something with it's black. No, it's not. And black women will do that shit and will come down heavy on a black woman. But you raising your child black. You are black. What you think? The white woman just going to give up her whiteness and not raise the child? What do you think they do if it don't work out? You think she go and raise the child in a black neighborhood or go somewhere up in the hood or in the jungle or find it? What do you think she doing with it? If she going back to her community, she gonna raise it white. That's why they coming out
Thank
confused.
you, because I know of a white grandfather who told me, he says, I'm raising my grandchild white.
There you go.
I said, so
You
what
know,
about the black side? He's
what
like,
about it?
what about it? Exactly. He didn't say
What
what
about
about it,
it?
but he said those exact same words.
What
I mean, he
about
didn't
it?
say those exact same words, but he said something close to it. That's
Well, there
right.
you go. That is not our concern. The black side is the woman side. You're the black side. Primarily, who raises the child? Black women. If he wanted a black child, then it would have been by a black woman. You know what they say when they have children? I'm pretty sure Serena's husband, and I'm just using her example. They like to talk about her. She's going to raise her daughters as black. Do you think the father's going to have an objection? They're going to have more black attributes because they got a black
Hmm.
mom. Are they going to be nullified to the fact that their father's white? Absolutely not. But she's going to be raised with a black woman. That little girl with black hairstyle. She don't have to figure out how to do her hair. She don't have to figure out where to get the culture from. She's there. He knows that she was black. And then he throws in his additives. She has a child by a Korean. I seen a couple. She's black. Her husband is South Korean. Daughter, she said they black because she come from a black woman. Oh no, mother friggers. It come out of black cooch. It's black. You know what they say? She teaches the other half. He teaches the other half, the Korean side. But she do have black daughters. That's black. Bi ethnic, black mom, Korean father, strong cognitives with her black history. She don't have to go seek around how to do no hair, how to get involved. The whole 9 yards, she's in it. Stop accepting the stuff that he have. They're not accepting it. That needs to be understood. You accept it as an individual. Yes, by ethnic white, by ethnic Hispanic. You have to choose. Choose what? Especially if the power dynamics runs and it's a Caucasoid and he not involved, and they say something happened to the quote unquote mother. What do you think is going to be raised as? White. Why do you think Obama is so white? And he ain't even ours either. I'm sitting there wondering why he went to Ireland talking about I'm home. And I'm like, what the fuck you mean he home? Then it dawned on me. His mama Irish, his grandmama Irish, his granddaddy Irish. Oh shit. He ain't black.
That's right.
He goes and visit the other side, but he was raised by an Irish mother,
Family.
grandmother,
That's
and
right.
grandfather.
That's right. Mm.
And he ain't our problem. That's the Kenyans' problem. That's on their side. He ain't black. The only thing black about him is his wife and his two daughters. Draw the line there, because they'll keep bringing stuff. Oh, well, the hell no. No, no. Black ain't knowing how to do no damn hair. You got to get that soul from deep down in there. You ain't going to, you as a man, like they like to tell us we can't raise a man. Well, you can't, you can only raise but so much a woman, just like I can't raise but so much a man. But I guarantee you this, I have my lineage, whatever you lineage through and through me. My kids ain't coming back confused and figuring and wonder why as a collective. Whether I have it by a black man, Hispanic, Asian, or whatever, they know they black side because black women teach it. You are the nation. Even Farrakhan said that when you raise a woman, you raise a nation. When you raise a man, it's an individual. Stop accepting they damn individuals. And then they come in here with psychological issues because the man chose to have it by a community that don't like that shit.
Don't like them. Don't like
It ain't
us.
our problem. We ain't got to deal with that. That's why I'm hard on that aspect. I feel bad for him, but you're not going to come over here with that vitriol. Take it up with your mammy and take it up with your father. We ain't got nothing to do with it. Start there. Gate up. Because if your mama can't accept you, she carried you for 9 months, I don't know what to tell you. But you ain't black. First line of being a black woman is coming from a black woman. Now, some may be a little bit more black than others, but hey. And you can't go by skin tone. Because black passing is a part of our group. Because according to the white man, we don't change the rules. When you have a baby by that black woman and it was the white man, that child was what? Black. That's how we got white passing. Still black. One drop has not changed. We have to basically separate on all levels. We've taken everybody's trauma. And I still ask the questions, what do we want as black American women solely? Oh, well, if we don't line up, they can't line up with the white side. No, we don't need you. We ain't got nothing against you, but you gonna go over there. Because then you the representation for my face, and then you coming with her vitriol as being a part of a white woman or an Asian woman. Cut it off. Because she's going to side with her mom. She carried her for 9 months under her heartbeat. She raised her, combed her hair, and the vitriol that she has from her mother's side will come to us. We ain't dealing with that. That's mental illness. Starting with that group. Go over there. Ain't got nothing against you, but y'all need to figure it out. That's between your black father, your white mama, or whatever color your mama is. But don't take that up over here. Black women deal with what comes out of your womb. That's where we start at. Right there. And stop calling all of these other melanated people black and claiming to be African. That's where we start. Cut it off right there. We have to draw the line. He don't get to draw our line for our identity. What he want to do for his identity, that's his business. But let it be known, this is our identity. We not accepting that. And all black women have to be on the court. That don't mean you don't love your grandbaby because she may come from your son and the mama white. You still love her, but let her know you ain't black, your mama white, baby. Your grandmama and your daddy black. And you can know both cultures, but you're not a black woman.
Right, because they do struggle. I'm gonna tell you
Yeah,
that right
right.
now, and they do struggle.
That's why my cousin didn't. My aunt never told my cousin that. She said, no, 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 boo-boo. You are half. Your mama is white. Your daddy black. And the only reason you know about your black side, because I'm raising you. But make this clear. Your mama white. You are half. You ain't no black woman. She let her know. Now you raised by a black woman. Now my other ones who came from her daughters who had black mom, no, you more black. Your daddy white, but your mama black. You don't have to confuse them. You're black. Did she feel out of place? No, because she had to identify with that white woman. What the hell are you telling her she black for? She not. It be them doing that dumb stuff and then coming with crazy stuff. But see, that was my aunt who told her, you better go get my grandbaby from that crazy BRTCH. You know she on that shit. Go get her. That's a black woman, but she didn't lie to her and tell her she was black,
Mm,
and helped raise her brother too, and he was all the way white. And told him, look, you gotta come get him. I gotta raise mine, but you gotta raise this one. That's when I realized black women, we too compassionate on bullshit.
that's true.
She never told her that. Who like, no, your mama white. Mm-mm. Your daddy is. Your dad is, but you not black. I'm black. No, no. See your hair. You see that woman you come out of. You white. You gotta identify. And she made sure she went on that other side to know that Italian side. They're Italian, but you ain't black. You half. Tell them the truth. Well, why isn't it different? Because the other ones got black mothers. Well, how come they? Because they mama black. She gonna take the attributes of her mama. They were by ethnic too. Their mama black. Oh, okay. Tell the truth. You don't shun them out. She's still a part of our family, but no, you're not black. Absolutely not. How are you doing that? Telling her she's that and her mom is a whole Italian. She has to identify with her other side. Mm-mm. But they want to push that over here. That's another part of separation and inclusion we have to deal with. Because he figured he was making him a whole nother black woman. No, the hell you weren't. So much so that we got other groups in our group that ain't even a part of our lineage. Skin tone. We cannot call people black on skin tone. It's about lineage. We have to make an exclusive separation. And this is going to be a process. This is going to be in layers. We have a lot of work to do, but I would say as black American women, we need to write down what do we want as black American women separate from what we want from the group. We've always mule for our group or mule for somebody else. We don't say or put in direct distinction on what we want. We fight as a collective for what we want as a group, but not as individuals for ourselves, excuse me. And that will be something that I say we have to work on. Gotta power down for 30 minutes. Okay, you just listening, Kay? All right. But yeah, this is stuff that we need to talk about. We have a lot of topics that we need to bring up. I'm hoping that I can bring up more screenshots and we can have not just discussions, but also come up with stuff. So come up with what we need to do and what is our cognitive goals for 2024 and what do we want personally for ourselves as black American women. I mean, think about it. What is the main concern for us in 2024? I know economics is one. And how can we become more on code? This is going to be a conversation that we have in layers multiple times. It's not going to just be it's stuff we got to peel back. But yes, we are in an identity crisis and we are part of the problem by calling them black and calling ourselves African. That has to stop. Hashtag take back black needs to be a consecutive movement where we're pushing it like never before and call out the degeneracy of the behaviors of women who perpetuate us and that are not us. And just because someone is melanated does not mean they're us. This is the beginning of a fight for our lives, our identity, our survival, as well as us being able to thrive.
And
Yeah.
believe it, they could
Yeah.
come off nasty too. I'm talking about the tethers and the other melanated folks.
Mm-hmm.
They could come off very tribal and nasty and do not feel sorry about it. Like I
Nope.
said, I've seen it, experienced myself. You could be like, oh, you could be like my brothers and sisters. They be like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
Jamaican. I am not American. But
Yes,
guess what? When it comes to them damn resources
I'm Black
and
American.
power, and the power structure, shoot, my everything is my sisters and brother. Then,
Hmm.
but
And that's
Miss
what we
D
say.
says something about. I see a lot of us calling the professor at Howard a black woman and a sister. Yep, and they're also doing boycotting. And I'm glad somebody put in the chat when it comes to National Action Network, which is Al Sharpton. Oh, we coming to support our sister Blase. We will be boycotting. Well, why you in boycotting when some of your goddamn members are homeless?
Hmm.
Why you
That
not
makes you wonder
boycotting
what
for
is
them
he.
to get the resources and jobs?
That makes you wonder what is Al Sharpton? Is he one of us? And you
Now,
thought he was?
that's a good question.
Is he a
I always
panhandler, Pan African? You know how that
that
is.
would be some shit because I always thought that he was one of us, and I know some of his roots go back to Alabama. They say he has some native in him. I don't know. I would like to ask him. I want to know that too.
Well, as a collective, all of us are pushing for delineation.
Hmm.
As a group, as Black Americans, as a group, that needs to be the first thing that needs to be put on the agenda besides closing the border. It needs to be sounded an alarm that instead of waiting until 2030, if he gets in the office, no, push that shit through now. We want to delineate and we want black. Hashtag take back black. African American is solidified under that. And when they do list them as African, it needs to state African with lineage directly from the continent. It needs to be a distinct distinction because we do have certain things that are under our name as African American, and that's true. They should not be able to get that title either. It should be Africans from the continent and then name the country that they're from and the tribes that they represent. And from the
Okay.
Caribbean, the same thing. It's not that hard. America wants to be the melting pot. That's fine. You can't melt everything into one dish, though. It needs to be America is a goddamn salad bowl, and everybody has their own distinct flavor and we all have our own position, whether you're fruit, a vegetable, or some meat. But we ain't all the same. That bullshit of that melting pot stuff is dead and gone. No, America is a country full of many different immigrants, and Black Americans ain't no damn immigrants. We are true Americans. Make that also clear. We're American and we're Black American. That's our name, not
That's
anybody's
right.
name because you want to call them that skin tone. Get out of here. That's crazy. That would not work for us as Black Americans anyway. Like I said, now all of a sudden changed up because we having bi-ethnic because he is and all of these other groups are mixing and having children by women all over the place. But our position never really changed. Black women basically have children by black men and other men here and there. But when she has it by that white man, why did it change? It didn't change because that's what he told you from the jump. Anything that come between me and you is black. So that's why it's so easy. But then when you see a child and it comes out and it looks white, why are we acting like we surprised? You know how many kids we had like that and it was still black? It was called white passing. It didn't change. All of a sudden, I'm gonna throw her aside because her skin is more. Oh, and she, we gonna pick up the African. You better get out of here. That's crazy. She wasn't brought up in our lineage. She's not our people. We're not her. And then it's like all of a sudden, when we have children, we want everybody to be this color. They are. We've had white passing and mixture since we've been here. Don't change up the rules all of a sudden because they came here. No, they got their own country that they flying from and failing from. We're not accepting them as no family members, and you're gonna kick your family member out because he or she has more, especially coming from a black woman. Absolutely not. We ain't tolerating that. Our sisterhood is not with none of these people. You want to be personal friends, that's your damn business. But they not a part of our family, our lineage, or our group.
That's right.
They ain't black. You better go somewhere with that bullshit. And the only reason the other side is the admixture is because he chose to sleep out, but it ain't no black woman. You had it by a white woman. There you go. By ethnic white, by ethnic Hispanic, but she or he ain't black.
And so the other question is, can you hear me?
Yeah,
The other question is, why aren't our men having a conversation with their sons?
I don't know.
Because I know I've had the conversations with certain men, and they did admit that they didn't really have the conversation with their sons until after their sons experienced the vitriol.
Mm, I don't know. I would like to know because when we was on that space, these were bi ethnic, and he was specific that he was talking to Black American. I don't know. If I think they're fine if the Black American man is in the household. Now, how productive he is and letting that child know about their black side is, I don't know, but definitely he shouldn't be telling his daughter that she's black coming from a white woman. Go ahead with that bullshit. You had about a white woman. That child is not black. It's not. When you raise a woman, you raise a nation. When you raise a man, you raise an individual. You don't get to bring in stuff and be like, oh, now she's black, but she got a white mom. Get out of here. Now I gotta contend with her. Nah, 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 nah. How about you? She is by ethnic white, but she's not a black woman. She does not have any ties to no black woman outside of her having that ties to your sister, her grandma. That's if they're alive and active in the child's life. But you don't get to call her black. No. Black men do that dumb shit because I guess he want. And I saw this with what's his name, Charles Barkley, and I'm not sure Charles Barkley is a Black American or a Caribbean African. He told a white racist man, "We're trying to make the earth, we're trying to beige y'all out." So I right then and there knew. My mom said, "Look at what he doing. He called himself beiging. You beiging your own community out because once she divorce you or toss you to the side or you running down the street like Forrest Gump, that child go under her." I guarantee you, Tiger Woods kids are not being raised as black by that white nanny with all the millions of dollars. They are saying our light skinned family, not black, some Africans. Yeah, they're black because we got some dumb black people talking about that's not black. Black comes from a black woman. It's black. Bi ethnic comes from whatever he lay with. That may be Hispanic, Asian, or white, but it ain't no black woman. Now, if he want to call it a black man, hey, that's on him. But anything that come from a black womb, that's a black woman. We're the nation. We're the ones who have the nation. That's a fact. He ain't changed the rules. He didn't. That's why he ain't paying it no mind when he breeding with all of these low class Caucasoid women. He's not going to change the concept just because those two want to go out here and have a bunch of children that are confused. He don't give a damn. Yeah, you can ask a quick question. Just this one time, Somali. Do y'all mind if Somali come ask a question? Here he come. Go ahead. You can ask the question, Somali. Mm-mm. Yeah, but we have to make that connection. I think we have been compassionate and accepting too many things. We started off like I said. Ty is correct in putting down. Take back black. Is it going to be hard? Yes, but ain't nothing we ever did in our fight. Our ancestors did in their fight was ever easy. So it ain't going to change now. All of a sudden, it's just going to be easy pathway. If they saw it that way, we wouldn't have never got out of slavery. So this is going to be something that we're going to have to push from now until and beyond, making that separation. And we have to train ourselves because I say it for me. I've been calling them black too, just a different type of black, but they're not black. What's up, Somali? I hope your mic ain't messed up.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, sister. I just want to ask this quick question, then I'll go back in the chat. I just wanted to ask, why don't you think Black Americans should have more children per family, at least like four? Because I'm seeing all these immigrants, and I was looking at studies that immigrants on average have more children than Americans, and it's true here in Canada as well. And I was just
Mm.
thinking that if you guys had at least four kids, at least 3 or 4 kids per family, that you
Mhm.
wouldn't, it would lessen the blow because I'm just afraid that these immigrant groups we will outnumber you guys because if you look at like Asians, the Asian American boost is coming from South Asia and Southeast Asia, and they tend to have a lot of children, and also with African immigrants, not so much with Caribbeans, but more so with Africans, that we tend to have more children than Black Americans. That initial immigrant population, but once we become like second and third generation, we tend to have only like 2 or 3 kids or just one. So I just wanted to know why
I
don't you
think
think
because
it's
the if you look at what is happening, what do you see what
that,
he's
that,
doing?
that
He's flooding them in here, right? He's flooding in immigrants. You
yeah,
see him flooding them in. Some of them he's flooding them in because he wants them to do, they said basically if they're young military age men to fight in the military to gain citizenship. When I'm looking at the cultures that they're coming from, a lot of them outnumber their women in these countries and these cultures. Or many of them ain't even going to return back to those countries. That's if
yeah,
they get
because
out of the situation. So that's if they
true
make it out
because
of the situation of war.
yeah, because
Number
in
two,
India,
yeah, go
uh,
ahead.
India outnumber their women in India. That's a very interesting thing. So a lot of these countries, the men do outnumber the women,
Exactly. I
and they're
paid
not very.
attention to that.
And
So
also with
now when you
India,
go ahead.
no, because with India is that there's a very real possibility by 2050 and 2060, the elderly will outnumber the young Indians because so many of them are fleeing and they're not having kids like that.
Same thing with the Chinese. They're bringing them here, and I don't see too many women. And the Chinese outnumber their women 20 to 1. So let's say hypothetically they make it through the war and become citizens. Who are they going to be producing with? Not to say they're going to produce with us, but I do want to have more children with black men. But we have to make sure it's economically sound because quality birth is more conducive than having just a quantity, because then you're defeating the purpose, because if you bring those children up in poverty, they're going to delete each other. I want more children, but I want more children in a quality environment. So I'll say, I'm not saying not to have children, have two and raise those up and make sure the environment is conducive and safe. But to have four and you're bringing up in poverty and three of them get deleted, you've just defeated the purpose. You just got to be better on how you do it. And I think that's how Black Americans are. But them bringing all of them numbers in here, they don't really know how many we have as Black American men and women. Just to be honest with you, Somali, I'm not trying to give it all out there. They don't really do an accurate number of the census. That's why I said we're past 45 million. Muhammad Ali said that in the 70s. They said we were 20. Muhammad Ali said 40. Now we're in 2024. I say we're like 90 something million. That's why they bringing them all over here. Nobody really knows how many black babies that Black American women have. We still have children. Most of us have children, but we tend to have children that we can kind of like afford, even though sometimes we have that struggle. But a lot of times, that's the whole aspect of when we have children, who can help support us. You have to have someone to have that backbone to help you out, whether you're a single or married parent, because you have to have that community outreach to raise these children. And that's what we're going to be analyzing. Big women spaces. I'm listening. Yeah, that's what we have to do. So that's what we're doing. Quantity quality above quantity. You can have as many children here, but number one, y'all can have those children, but how would they be able to thrive and survive? I don't look at what America is doing as being a thriving environment for immigrants. If you weren't able to do it in your country, I don't see how you're going to do it here when economically things are going to go to the left and you don't have that strong family support like Black Americans do. Everybody's always talking about how dysfunctional we are, and typically they're in our family business. But how strong is your family structure when you're coming in? And a lot of times the children don't even know what he or she is or to identify as. They don't really have that strong backing where they're hiding their identity. They don't have no strong connection to the roots from the country that they're coming from. Just like they failed running over here, it's going to be a failed thought when they try to like elevate here, because if you don't know where you came from, you don't know where the hell you're going. That's a fact. That's why they always try to tell us you don't have a culture, you don't know who you are. But the whole world's imitating our culture. We just have to have that confidence. We are American. That's all we need to do. Identify what we are, our history, our lineage. We are American and go from there. Yeah, they don't know how many of us there is. I can tell you, I'm not going to tell you on here. They never will know. We are more than what they say. They've always undercounted us. And Black women had babies like goddamn rabbits. We've never had that problem. That's why when they talking about abortions, I'm like, huh? But now knowing it's a few bad apples that's coming from other cultures, and they're the main ones who are melanated women in the forefront, jumping up and down, talking about all of this stuff. I'm not sure who's actually getting those, deleting all of them children. I'm not saying that that doesn't happen, but it's a lot of stuff that's done under the coverage of our name, the cloak of our name, but they're not necessarily Black American women. All it takes is a few bad apples to spoil the bunch. And I'm noticing that this happens not just in America, where they're coming to and cloaking under our names, but it's also happening in other countries like the UK and wherever they're at. And we're not even there as a collective, and it's happening there. And they're a small group there. So this is stuff that Black American women need to study and look at. We can't do this camaraderie and this sisterhood stuff. If you're a friend with them on an individual level, okay, fine. You've been friends for years, fine. Ain't nobody telling nobody to break up friendships or relationships, and it's a solid relationship. But when it comes to us as a collective and what we do as a group, like Neely Fuller said, we have to be on one accord. We may not be on the same page, but we do need to be a part of the same story, and we need to be in the same, we need to be a part of the same volume. The story has to fit. Everybody's going to be at different levels because we're not all doing the same thing. We all have a part to play. We're a whole volume, a series, but we have to be in that book. We have to be a part of that story. We have to do our part to make the story complete and keep it ever going as information for our children. We're not all going to be on the same level, but we can't just have everybody be a part of our story and come one, come all, we all one, you my color, you got, stop that dumb stuff. We do need to know our history. It's right here at the tip of our fingers, at the sole of our feet. We need to start reading, calling out bullshit, and standing for certain things that benefit us as, yes, a group, but definitely putting ourselves first as self-preservation as Black women. If we don't self-preserve ourselves because we are the nation, you raise a woman, you raise a nation, you lose out. So start off by cutting off a lot of the fat and a lot of the unwanted and unnecessary BS from our meals. We've been eating the wrong shit. We've been eating unhealthy. Cut a lot of the nonsense out and let it be known who we are as Black women and who we accept as being a part of our group. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't let nobody shame us. If you are not accepted by the group of the woman that gave birth to you, that's between your mama and your daddy. That has nothing to do with Black women. That woman has a child outside of her ethnic group, and she knows darn well that it's not accepted by the group that she chose to have. She is not accepted by her group. That does not fall on us as Black American women or Black American community just to be the dumping ground. So they don't accept us, or that ain't our problem. You are the woman that you come from. You're bi-ethnic, whatever, white, Hispanic, Asian, with a quote unquote black father. But if you come from a black woman, I will identify with that child because that woman raises her as black. Don't let no black man in our community shame us or anything that he has on the outside. And we stop calling all of these other people who are melanated black and stop calling ourselves African. Pan-Africanism is dead. Hotism is dead. These religious ideologies that bring nothing that is conducive to elevate us as a society should be eliminated. If religion is helping you to get by day, that's fine, but it should not be a part of our elevation as what we need for a group. We have to start evaluating a whole lot of things as black women and thinking differently because, again, the world as we know it has changed and we cannot go on as business as usual, even though we're trying to keep a roof over our head, food on our table, and clothes on our children's back and trying to take care of the partner or be in line with the partner who is in our household, whether he be a black American man or whatever other man or whatever the heck, or maybe it's a woman. Whatever the case may be in our household, we need to start opening our eyes, put that third eye out, and be conscious of what's going on around us and stop being so damn compassionate and giving. Because these groups are here, like Shay was saying, and I'm not sure about Kay saying it. They here to eat. They not here to play pity patty with us and ring around the fucking rosies. We have to change up the way that we move, think, and look and be conscious of what's going on around us. This is something that we need to do on a daily basis, needs to be a daily part of our life. So we need to be exclusive, no more inclusion. Identity fraud needs to be called out. Speak more about the economy and what we need. Politics and addressing our needs as true Black American women, descendants of chattel slavery. An agenda that is benefits us solely. That it should be a part of our goal. Anything else that we need to add to that list, we need to start thinking about and listing what do we need as a collective as Black women to take that survey, not have these other groups of women speaking for us or us being the proxy for these other groups and standing in line with them while their agendas and their needs are being met and we just tossed on the wayside. We have to stop being packing mules. So this is the things that we need to discuss on the next one. Today is the 13th. On the 20th, I'm not sure what I had put up for that one. That'll be another conversation. We'll probably revisit this on what is our goals and our agenda for 2024 because we're going to go with another subject. Any other information or anything that you want to drop off to me, a lot of you have my email address. It is in the link, or it is claritydimensions@gmail1909. No, Clarity Dimensions 1909 at gmail.com. That's what it is. So a lot of you may have it. Drop me some stuff in my box because I didn't see anything. A lot of people didn't come on tonight. I guess it's really cold. How's everybody doing with the weather? I know it's freezing. People out here trying to make it and maintain. Where y'all at? Midwest, East Coast? What is it like in Canada, Somali? I know it's crazy over there. So I'm wondering, how's everybody doing with this freezing weather? What's going on? How y'all doing it to survive? I hope y'all getting prepared. Don't get scared. Get prepared. Stocking up, making sure you have enough water, munitions, fuel. Make sure you keeping safe as Black women, keeping your families together. I hope everyone is good. BSI, I mean not BSI, Somali, do you know what's up with BSIs? Are you okay? Because I haven't seen him in 5 days, and that's not like him. I know Megan may be on a sabbatical with her newborn, but you tend to be in all of the spaces, so drop something on what's going on. Sure, but it better be about Black women. But we can talk about stuff. But this is a Black woman space. I don't mind if the guys listen. I just let Somali come up and say stuff. But yeah, you can send stuff. He was on Twitter. Oh, he was on Twitter. So BSI must be doing some other stuff. Just making sure he was all right. So everyone is Black women. This was an interesting conversation. Shay and Kay are doing their thing. Anybody else want to come up as a Black woman? Speak your mind. Don't be scared to come up. Just make sure you get your little characters up, because I would like to hear more women speak. We can be open panel when it comes to us as Black women. And we don't mind opposition, but this space is solely and completely for us, by us, and doing what we need as Black women and Black women only. This is for us. Period. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share with other Black American women. We should be getting more people as time go on. And again, build up your courage so you can come up here and speak. We need to hear some other ideas and do more things on the panel. And again, I'm still trying to figure out how to bring out more content on our stuff so that we can have more things to discuss and more things to move on as Black women as we go on this tedious journey in 2024. It's going to be a hell of a ride. This is going to be one exciting year. Um, but we were made for this. So let's make it happen as Black women. Shay went to sleep. So I had a good night. Everybody's tired. This weather is whooping tail. Everybody, please be safe. Um, I'll see you on the 20th on our next space at 8:30. I know I said 9:30, but it was really hard. This wind is really, really whipping and kicking. DiCaprio, Shay knocked it. She always knocked out DiCapriano. I don't know what be up. Shay be falling asleep. It's cold. This weather have you hibernating like a bear. So I'm glad that even the women and the men from other ethnic groups do come out and support, because I know y'all be watching to see what we saying. But it's a lot that we have to do. But know this, whatever benefits Black women benefits the community as a whole. When you have strong women, you have a strong community. Everybody make sure we continue to go over and support Megan, BSIA. Again, support Flower Tower as Black women because she's a doctor or aspiring to be one. Make sure we help her out so that she can get her goals met financially to be that Black doctor. The more we put out like her, the better it is for us as Black women. We may not agree with everyone on everything, but we must understand that we're Black American descendants of chattel slavery women first. Put our needs first, always. Yes, and have a good morning. Is it a good? It's morning time already, Miss D. Good Lord. Oh my God, it is. Everyone have a good morning and be safe. Ladies, make sure you be at the same spot. It'll be here 8:30 next week. Y'all make this so easy. We'll start to pull up as time go on. Again, refer to more Black American women who descend from United States chattel slavery. We're an exclusive space. It doesn't mean that we don't mind people listening, but this is for us and us only. And we're going to have to also move on other spots so we can talk more exclusively and get down more on what we really need to say and what we need to do. Not just say, but do. So everybody, have a good morning. Be safe. Peace out. See you on the 20th and keep in touch. And again, like, share, and subscribe. Have a good one. Love you guys. Be safe and make sure you're warm in this cold Arctic vortex breeze. Have a good one. Shay, I guess when she wake up, she'll wake up. Good night, everybody. Good morning. Be safe. Bye.
Can y'all hear me? There's this new movie about Malcolm and Martin. They still using tethers to play. Well, the black Americans, got to start boycotting them. Then, can y'all hear me? I'm here at the Capriano. Light skinned family, not black Africans. Trina, can y'all hear me? It says I'm still in the show. I'm sorry, y'all. It's now 1:15. We usually used to going all night too. I'm glad we finally focusing on ourselves and our needs. Okay, y'all. I'm out. Until next time, be blessed. Peace.